What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Matthew Spear and Leeroy are in the house. Welcome. Good to see everybody.
Good to see everyone. Good to see you, Matt.
Yes, sir. Wish it was under better circumstances.
Yeah.
I think everyone's still in shock, but we're going to talk about that tonight. We've got a lot of information, a lot of news coming out, and we're going to try to put a Band-Aid on the things that are just insanity and get them healed and move on. Gonna do a biopsy on a bunch of stuff and just cut that cancer out and throw it away. And then, release some other information that's gonna slap you on the keister and send you home for outpatients. We're gonna do a little bit of everything. Do it all tonight. T.S. Dixon's gonna stop by at 8 o'clock. We have a lot of people who want to stop on the show. Laura Logan is... I texted her this morning and I said, listen, I haven't talked to you since the 20K show. And, Olivia was saying I should reach out to you and bring you on the show, but it just didn't feel right. But this does, and I want to get you on. And she's like, I'd be more than happy to do that for you. So she's like, I'm a wreck right now. And I said, of course, take your time. Her and Charlie Kirk with good friends, and let her heal a little bit, and then let's get her on. It's also September 11th. We're not going to spend a whole bunch of time on that tonight, but of course we'll talk about it. Let's get it going. We should have a ton of people on. We are ready to hit 300,000. I know that sounds crazy considering that 36 hours ago we were at 255,000, but we've gained 45,000 followers in just a day and a half or so. It's unbelievable. Going viral, and we're loving it. Let's get a bunch of people on, get this shared out. We'll see you in a few seconds. What's going on, everybody? Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me Show. I am proud to announce that the Documents of Freedom are back in stock. It's a 3-book collection, leather-bound, by Arcadia Publishing. Starts out with the Bill of Rights, and it's the complete edition of the rights, so you can look up and reference anything your heart desires. Declaration of Independence, with revisions and founder images included, beautifully illustrated. And last but not least, what would Documents of Freedom be without the Constitution of the United States of America in its entirety? The box is handmade by PFC Flags, custom engraving, all 100% made in the USA from the nails to the glue. And we have a 5-star rating, satisfaction guaranteed, 150 sold 5 stars or better. It is so important, especially in today's society, to ensure that the younger generation has these books available in the future. Get them for your family and friends, available right now. Head on over to thedumbshow.com/books. Thanks so much. that I hear most often, that I always try to help people connect the dots, is what is past is prologue. And although Shakespeare, not my favorite, it's an interesting thing when you look at 1980 and the crack epidemic and what the United States government was involved in with the Contras.
No kidding.
So I don't understand why people are so shocked and they call Roseanne a conspiracy theorist. Because there's evidence in the past of the government getting involved in this, and there's plenty of books on this, and you can read this.
Hey, here's what I think. I love your show, by the way, Matt Spear, and
Thank you, ma'am.
Just discovered you about a week ago,
ma'am.
Oh my God, this guy's a genius. The facts he can spew.
God, I love you.
You can spew fact, and that's the sign of a genius.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I appreciate you asking me that.
So you just made my life.
I do remember back when they were bringing the crack cocaine into the black neighborhoods, and that proved that the CIA was doing it because they were grooming that population, and they've been
adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What's going on, everybody? Want to make sure we're not having too much fatigue. Last night was a lot. We were on till 12:30. We finished with 1,030 some odd people on. I imagine tonight, once we get going a little bit, we'll also pick up. Please share this on TikTok. You're going to get some latest breaking news. You're not going to get it anywhere else. And the reason why is these podcasts have a tendency to build relationships with people, and we've done a pretty darn good job of that, whether you guys know this or not. And if you're new here, we tend to stick by the facts. Leeroy and I have both developed relationships with a lot of military Leos, a lot of people in Washington, D.C., because we worked in the government and still work in the government. Leeroy does. And we use those resources and some of the things that we were trying to do to help us kind of disseminate and process information to you in an effective way. We stand by our record. It's usually pretty good. If you were on last night when we broke down the Charlie Kirk shooting, I think we were pretty much spot on just on everything, maybe except for the caliber. They're saying it's a 30-06 is what I'm hearing, but I will challenge
That's
that.
what I heard too.
Yeah, but the first thought that I had, and because of the report, is that it was a 308, and Tommy Cawthon thought the same thing. The sheer velocity, the impact of the round, it sounded like a 308 to me. But I heard 270. Now there was also what looked to appear to be a 22 with a suppressor on it, and I can tell you most assuredly that's a pellet gun. And if you look at the bottom of it, the loading mechanism is underneath the extended grip on the 22 rifle, and it's a pellet gun. It's not real. But we're going to talk about that. You have a person who has another gun. You have another guy screaming gun and shoot me. And what does all this mean? And is it a clever, massive plot of an assassin and distraction in order so someone can get away? Is this a James Bond movie or a 24? We'll talk about it. There's a lot of myth out there and misnomer. We're going to put to bed a lot of bunk that is where you're just going to rip it apart tonight and throw it away, because we don't want you listening to that crap, because it's fake and it's not real and it dishonors the true work. We've got some breaking news that I am waiting literally on pins and needles for a final confirmation on, that I got some information that is very interesting. And I'm just waiting for a text from a source of mine, who can help us kind of connect the dots. So Leeroy has not had a chance to process. I'll just run down a couple things real quick. We are The Dumb Show, and you can help The Dumb Show by going to thedumbshow.com/donate. And if you're looking to help the show and keep us going and going strong, that's the best way to do it. And you can help us out that way. Pretty simple. Our goal tonight's 300. Olivia's on the computer, and she'll be working through that. And then later at 8 o'clock, we'll have T.S. Dixon coming on, who is a good friend of the show, a great writer and author. And he's got some opinions, and he's reached out to Charlie Kirk before and has some things to say. And Charlie and him had a at least a couple of communications, and he's impacted his life, and he wants to share that with us. And then Leeroy, who is a connoisseur of intelligent and intellectual powerhouses. I know he's got things to say, so I'm going to turn it over to him. I've had my chance to say. And yeah, Carrie, a 30-06 and a 270. A 270 has a much higher pitch report. It's a little bit more on the higher end. And a 308 is more of a boomier, higher load. And that's what it felt like it was. The thud along with the crack, still a 270, 308, a 30-06 at that range. It doesn't make any difference, to be honest with you. The velocity and the speed and where that entered, we'll talk a little bit about that tonight. But Leeroy, go ahead. It's all you, buddy.
Yeah. So, first of all, for those who have just tuned in for the very first time, you already know Matt. He's the host of the show. I am a co-host. My name is Leeroy Jenkins, and obviously it's a fake name, and that is because I still work for the government, and I need to preface everything I say tonight with I am in no way, shape, or form representative of the government. And none of the information I put out tonight will have been acquired through governmental means. I've never abused any IT systems, anything like that. So beyond that, everything else is just acquired open source and is just purely my opinion. That being said, where do we want to start off?
Well, I think it's just a matter of your reaction. I mean, it's been, well over 24 hours now. So now it's a matter of, let's look at it.
Yeah.
And as far as any call-ins, let's hold on a little bit. And we're going to wait on the call-ins here. We'll get that started here in a little bit. And like I said, TS is calling in at 8:00. But I just kind of want to get your thoughts and your reaction to this, and then we can kind of go from there. Because unfortunately, this isn't the first time we've seen something like this.
No, it is not the first time, and we could, as much as we hope that it would be the last time, we know that that's probably not going to happen either. My reaction is the same as everyone else's. It's horror, right? Matt and I both agree to varying degrees that violence in this form is bad. Violence overall is bad. Like if you can't have a rational academic discussion without it turning violent, then something is wrong. And Charlie Kirk was not a violent person. He never advocated for that. He was always look, if you disagreed with him, he invited you to the front of the line to debate first, right? He wanted you to prove him wrong. So anybody who disagreed with him, they got passed right to the front of the line. And they didn't like what he said, so they killed him for it. So my reaction is one of horror. It should never happen. And whenever it does happen, my stance has always been that is from people who want to silence. There's a really great quote about wherever they burn books, eventually they will too burn people. And that was from Nazi Germany. And this is no different. It's just that instead of printed form, they didn't like what he said, so they had to silence him permanently.
Real quick, sorry, real quick. I want everyone to understand all these comments about Matt. Watch this, Matt. I've already watched it all. Okay, so we're gonna do it all. Just relax. It's everything you've said. There's like 20 comments. Every one of them. I've got every video. I'm gonna debunk it all. Yes, I'm familiar with the person who are stealing home with baseball signs in the back, and they say that those are military SEAL team signs. Yes, I know. And yes, I understand that people are saying that he was wearing a level 4 ballistics vest. I know. And I know people are saying that he was hit in the head first. Yes, I know. Yes, and I know, I'm aware. And I know about the transgender shooters. Mm-hmm. And I, folks, you have to understand is that this is our realm. This is our world now. And I have spent 5 years building relationships and contacts for this very thing. So trust me, the people who are in the know are contacting the people who know how to tell the story. And they're not contacting the people who don't. I'm just going to let you know this right now. This is a very personal and a palpable feeling that you could have if you were in this administration and in the alphabet agencies right now. People are pissed and they want this fucking guy and they want him bad. So understand that I'm aware of the things. I'm going to show you those things. I'm going to tell you what's right, what's wrong, what's not. And you're going to have a choice to say, wow, I'm new here and I don't believe this guy at all. And I think this is a major conspiracy and this was the greatest assassin of all time, which this person was not. Or you're going to go, I'm going to trust Matt because I've trusted him for 5 years. And I think the entire time that I've been listening to him, he's been wrong once. Because we don't make shit up and we don't say it unless it's true. And we wait for sources and we confirm with people we trust, people who we know, brothers and sisters in arms who we would put our lives on the line for. So bear with us. Leroy, I'm so very sorry I interrupted you, but I got to keep up with the scroll.
I can't emphasize that exact same point enough. We need to let the agencies do their thing and only put out the facts. I mean, we can have discussions about, we can speculate, but we need to emphasize when we are speculating, we need to let people know that and only put out the facts that have been verified by those agencies. Oftentimes, especially in events like this, when emotions are running hot, data is coming in from all over the place. Oftentimes what the best step is to slow down a little bit.
Yep.
To slow down
and speed up.
Yep. And really evaluate pieces of information as they come in. Are they verified? Are they not verified? Who's putting it out? That type of thing. So
yeah,
we can move from there.
Mel said a report from a 30-06 from a 308 is negligible. Yeah, as much as a 270 and a 308 is negligible, but
especially from 200 yards.
Yeah, that's the point. So he was so close to the shooter where the filming was and the audio came from. Once I got the other locations that were spread out a little bit, I can understand how the reporting is different on different levels. Being at ear level, you're going to get the boom and the concussive wave of a under 20 hertz sound, which is the subwoofer range of thick and bassy. If you're lower than the report and it's being broken up by trees or foliage or anything else, you're going to lose the low frequency. So the point is that it doesn't matter. We knew and we identified that it was a manual bolt action rifle. And I was absolutely certain that it was not an AR-15. I told you that.
The moment I saw the video, I sent that into Matt, and I was like, dude, that is a straight up.
That's a bolt action
rifle.
It's a high power, high velocity round. You're not dealing with a 22. You're not dealing with a 5.56 or a 2.23. It's a different weapon system. The kinetic energy that was transferred into Charlie's body was massive because it's a massive round. I mean, it's something that's designed to put down a buffalo. So if that tells you anything, this round that they use is designed to kill large prey. And it has no problem doing a man, especially where it went. Now, we'll talk a little bit about the entry and exit, but let's talk about the shooter. So I want to give you the information that I have that I can confirm. And these are from sources that I trust, and I will not give you my sources. So, I love when people source. I'll listen. If you want to talk about history, if you want to talk about some scientific study, if you want to talk about a geopolitical strategy or a strike package or something to that effect, I'll get into sources all day long, but I'm not going to get into human. I don't do it. I don't burn my sources, and I'm certainly not. I'll tell you what agency they're from most time, but that's about it. So I'll be talking information that I've received from 3 different agencies. One is the U.S. Marshals. One is going to be the United States Secret Service. And the next is Air Force One Security. Those are the 3 bits of sources that I will tell you. And everything I'm telling you is unclassed and open source for those who have relationships with those people. This is all common knowledge. This is stuff you can get on the base. This is stuff you can get from flight logs. This is stuff you can get just from people who are assigned to these areas of the White House administration who have reporters there know these type of things too. You just may not get this information because it's not pertinent to the big picture. So here's what we know. There is not an orgy of evidence. Now,
no,
it's amazing when people see movies. They immediately go, well, if they have a gun and then they have a boot print, this was all planted. Okay, so people's first reaction is always going to be the wrong one when they're not in the know. I'm just letting you know. If they don't have a level, see, Leeroy and I went through a very specific set of training that helped us develop our minds to not interject our own biases into analysis. And it's a really difficult thing to achieve, and what a lot of ISs aren't very good at and don't have long careers as ISs, because they can't discern the truth from the noise. And most of the noise that is introduced into an IS's career is self-induced. And they can't focus on one simple piece of evidence and stay there. And this is what's known as the rabbit hole effect. It's called analysis paralysis. And a lot of ISs, when they're assessing certain situations, will get themselves an analysis. Yeah, they'll just continue to keep searching and searching and searching and not looking and disseminating the evidence in front of them that has the answer right there that they're looking for. But they overcomplicate the simplistic. But here's what we know, okay? Here's what the dumb show got right, first of all. High-powered rifle, bolt action. Caliber that we discussed was a 270. I didn't think a 30-06, but whatever. A 308. And most assuredly a single shot, of course. And an entry wound. A lot of people felt that it was in the neck. Now, a lot of people felt that Charlie, they're saying that he was wearing a level 4 ballistic armor. He was not. First of all, if he was wearing a ballistic vest of that size, it doesn't really matter, because there's nothing that's really going to stop that round that he was hit with. You know, if he gets hit with a 7.62 or a 5.56 or a 2.23 or, you know, a little bit of a smaller grain count of a round, you can survive. But most ballistic armor is designed for longer range type of shots, or closer with a handgun that is going to move massively slower and have a lower grain count than some of these high velocity rounds in the sense, or have a higher grain count in some cases. But a vest it doesn't really reflect. That's not what vests do. So vests don't, that's not what happens. So when everyone's like, well, Charlie was hit in the vest and then it went up into his neck, that's not the way a high velocity round would work. Now, the first thing that happens is when you dent armor, and whether it's ceramic or plating or whatever other type of armor it is, or some sort of weave, is that it's going to indent. And it's going to create an indention, like all bullets do, into whatever they're hitting. And the round will either lodge and penetrate that armor and enter the skin or the bone or whatever it would be, or the muscle or the tissue or an organ.
Right.
Or it will penetrate the armor and break the armor and remain in the armor, or it'll just dissipate. And that's where you get bounced back and pieces of shrapnel. But understand when I say this, when a round hits armor plating or ceramic plating or whatever it would be, it's going to shatter and it's going to dissipate. So when people are like, well, it hit here and it bounced up, that's not what happened. What happened is that Charlie was probably hitting the clavicle on the left-hand side. So it would be here, and he was probably hitting the clavicle right in between this bone. You can feel it in your neck, right? But right here. And this collarbone in this area. And the round came in there. And that's where you see he's wearing some form of vest underneath. Now, this could be for a couple of things. This could be for audio. This could be something else. It could be a low-level ballistics vest for a handgun or something. I don't know, because I see the frame of it. When I went up close, I can see it's a very small, simple, protects the heart, protects the lungs and the kidneys and, you know, just these organs in this area. And it's very similar to what you would see on an umpire, but thinner and much smaller. Leeroy, I'm almost done.
No, you're good.
So when you see the round enter, a lot of people are saying it came from this side. It came from this side. It didn't. First of all, that's not where the shooter was. We told you where the shooter was, and we nailed it. I mean, we got it to the fucking inch of where he was. We crushed the angle that he came in at. The thing is that when it enters, you can see a powder burn right before it comes through his neck. And it looks to be, when it came in, it was somewhere on the left-hand side on the clavicle area, between the collarbone and the clavicle. At that point, when the bullet could come in, once it hits tissue and skin and bone, and if there was a partial vest there, it can redirect the round. It's going to punch through that vest, but it could alter. And some of the mass of that round could have come in and then exited his neck, because the hit on the neck, the reason why you saw so much blood flow and it was such a large exit wound is because it probably was an exit wound. That's what we're trying to say. But initial reports were, it looked like at first it hit him in the neck. When we get closer, you see that that's where the exit wound of the round. It doesn't matter. It entered in that same area and went in and did its damage. Now, people are saying that this was an expert shot from an assassin because it hit his carotid artery. Now, I talked about this last night. And the carotid zone, when you're shooting into the neck, it is not hard with that round. Whether it's a 30-06 or a 270 or it's a 308. At 200 yards, and it's not 200 yards, by the way, we measured it and we were right on, it was about 150. It's not going to matter. If you hit in this general vicinity, in this grapefruit spot, that he's dead. Spinal column's going to go, jugular's going to go, carotid artery's going to go, spinal damage, or he's going to hit the apricot. And I believe we also had an apricot shot too. That was probably damage his brainstem because he turned off like a switch. I mean, there was no muscle reaction. There was no defensive mechanism. He was done. He was just instantaneously gone. So that's the second piece. From here, people are saying that this was an expert assassin shot. Let me explain to you something. This shot was not difficult. This was very much like Butler. Donald Trump should have died that day. The shooter rushed. The shooter did not get into a position. And I believe probably the shooter's heart rate was going through the frickin' roof and just made a shot that he did not understand effectively. I believe this shooter, people were saying that they couldn't see Charlie's head and neck, so he was aiming for the chest and the bullet went up. That's not the way bullets work. And that's not the way it works from the drop rate and windage that he would have in that distance, which was not very far. And he had line of sight to Charlie's head. And he probably was trying to make a headshot and didn't anticipate the drop and was probably making flat surface shots. But a down trajectory shot based upon that roof at the downward angle that it was and the angle coming in, he probably went for a headshot, which is a novice move. He should have went center mass. And he hit him in the neck or the clavicle. That's what it looks like. But the angle, I've seen the drone footage. I've actually seen the photographs. I got a couple photographs today that I will share with you if you would like, that showed the position of the shooter and his lay down position and his line of sight. And he had full joy on Charlie's entire body. This shot is not hard. Any 12-year-old who spends iron sights, most snipers can do 300 yards with iron sights. I know Leeroy and I are both qualified at iron sights at hundreds of yards.
400 yards.
So this is not a hard shot. And anyone that tells you that it's a hard shot hasn't done that type of shooting. Now, am I saying that getting into position and all this other stuff, we'll talk about that. But that's where we're at right now. And that's what we know from the shooting. Leeroy, did you want to add anything? Because I got more, but I want to give you a chance.
Yeah. I would. I mean, we could have a discussion about that, but as I understand it, shooting from an elevated position, if someone was going for this general area, center mass, that it's a pretty common area, or it's a common occurrence for novice shooters when aiming here to actually hit upward, to actually, for the bullet to not impact where they think it is, and for it to be just a few inches above, especially at 150 to 200 yards.
But not for experts.
Not for experts. And so that's why I would think, and I understand what Matt is saying, is that he could have been aiming for a headshot. I'm not sure. But as I understand it, that is a pretty common error for amateur shooters, is when you're using such a high caliber, highly powerful round, to actually, if you're aiming down, to actually hit a little above.
Mhm. So what we're also talking about, though, is that he wouldn't have line of sight to Charlie Kirk based upon his position, because that's where my point I'm trying to make is that if he had to come in and shoot low on the target, the bullet wouldn't magically go straight, go underneath the canopy, and then rise up. That's not the way it works.
Yeah.
That's my point. It's
Gotcha.
not that I'm not saying that they don't creep, and I'm not saying that the rifleman's rule isn't in effect here, because it 100% is. And the practical effect of a round at a downward trajectory to a lower target acts differently than a flat round going across horizontal or perpendicular to the earth. So you're absolutely right. But my point is that if he didn't have line of sight of his head and neck and he was aiming for his lower torso, it wouldn't go here, drop down, go underneath the canopy, and then come up. Do you understand my point?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he had line of sight. And shooting through with a high-powered rifle through canvas and aluminum and still hitting your target, that's just nonsense. That is a movie, or that is the Warren Commission's report on the magic bullet theory. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the practical effect is a short to mid-range shot between 50 to 200 yards, what Leeroy is talking about, where you have bullet will creep and elevate up on a high shot position to a low shot target. And that practical effect is absolutely real. And more than likely, based upon what people said, is that if he shot and aimed at his head in that position, the bullet it's going to go above his head.
Right.
If they aim at his
that's a
torso,
novice shooter error. Yeah.
But understand this. My point is the entry is at the clavicle. And that's what I'm seeing. And it's not the neck, which would probably mean that he is aiming for the center mass below the breast line and right at the first part of the abdomen in order to get that type of shot. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if the particle effect is true, or excuse me, the practical effect is true of the round from a high to low position, and it hit him here, left side, sorry, hit him here, he was probably aiming even lower. Novice shooters who don't have a lot of skill set don't necessarily go for center mass. Butler is an exact perfect reactionist. He had elevation on Trump, not much, about 12 feet, and he hit him in the ear. This guy was 35, 40 feet up. He was plus 3 stories from at least that, probably even 50 feet up, compared to Charlie Kirk's position. And in order for that shot to happen, I don't know where his shot placement was. I just don't know. We're going to have to assume that it was probably lower and it came up and hit him here. That's our best guess. And we won't know until you catch the guy, or they do ballistics and find out.
Yeah. Yeah. Beyond that, the only thing that had been released while I was watching everything earlier, and Matt will give you more updates, but the only thing that I had seen was that the person of interest was a white male in their mid-20s, and that the things that were left behind at the scene was a palm print, a boot print,
a boot indention. So it wasn't a print; it was a boot indention into the soft rock on top of the roof. Just to let you know. And they pyramided all of that, so they got the entire outer ring, top and bottom, and so they got the size of the boot.
Yeah. Sorry. The weapon, which was left behind along with some unspent rounds, and apparently that was not on the roof of the building, but that was in the yards below. And that's how they were able to kind of trace where this dude was trying to escape out of the area from.
Yeah.
So that was all that I had prior to coming onto the show.
Let me give you a little bit more on that. That's just a little bit more detail. And this is, I've got a picture of the firearm, just to let you know. I'm cropping out some information here.
Somebody had said at one point there was like a Mauser or something or other. I didn't.
The 306 Mauser, and had a scope.
Okay.
Had obviously a reticle sight on it. So this is the they said they took it out in blankets, but it actually looks like the box that it would come in pretty standard.
Yeah.
From the barrel, you can't tell. Probably 30-06, maybe a 270. 308 looks a little thin, but you can't tell. Every single person who's hunted has this weapon. I have this weapon in my gun safe, something very similar. Mine's a Savage, but it looks just like
Pretty
this.
common.
Except it's got the Accu trigger and the shock mount on the back. But it's fairly standard, this weapon system, and more than likely a 30-06. And they said it was what, a Mauser.
You know, what's interesting in that photo is that it looks like they were trying to take that photo as the sun was setting. That's why you've got the bright spot in the middle, and the bright spot off to the right is they were using flashlights to help illuminate the photo.
Yeah, and so this was found. So let me tell you how this was found. This was actually found in the woods. This was illuminated by light. It was found at nighttime. It was several. I'm not going to tell you who it was, but the group that found it, they were full tactical gear. There were a couple of civilians, not civilians, but police officers. They were in full tactical gear, and then the rest of them had vests on. And what had happened is that when this guy came into the egress and ingress point, it's a 30-06. Once again, that's what's been reported, but I've also heard reports of a 270. It's very possible that it's either one of those three, and you can't tell from that photo. I mean, unless you barrel it out, you're not going to. Maybe Tommy could possibly figure it out, but the rumors are that it's a 30-06, but there's also been indication that it was a 270. So I'm going to go. I saw the leaked report from Crowder, and the leaked report said it was a 306. What, Mauser? Is that what they said?
Yeah.
So I've seen that, but I've also seen reports that it's a 270. So FBI also had a press conference, and they also said it was a 30-06. So at this point, it doesn't fucking matter what round it is. It's inconsequential to what this is. It doesn't matter. At that range, it doesn't matter. And yes, at that range, the bullet's going to be lifting. See, people think that, a bullet just comes in and drops. It's not the way it works. A bullet has lift. And you have to counter for all of these things when firing a long rifle. And yes, even at 150 yards, it's a football. It's almost 2 football fields. It's a football field and a half. It's a lot. That's 450 feet, right? That's a lot. Mm-hmm. So, it's a good shot. I mean, it's not a hard shot. It's a shot.
No.
And that's where people are like, he's an expert assassin. He placed it right in his carotid. He's understanding he has sights. JD Stillwell, $10. Thank you, JD. And he's going to have a sight picture of Charlie Kirk's chin to his lower chest and abdomen. He's going to have a very nice sight picture at that range. And it's going to be like doing this to me. Probably depends on where he's amplified at on his scope. Yeah. So this guy had probably sighted it in also and practiced at the range. Now, how do we know this? Well, because they have video of him. So they have him coming into the ingress point, and they know exactly how he did it. Came in through a building and went up onto the top, and then navigated up into the top and jumped from one area to another and got in. And they have that on video. They know that for sure. They have his egress. Bobby, hang tight. We're going to get to all these things. Joanne Lootman, for freedom of speech, may we never be silenced. Amen. Thank you, Joanne. So they have his egress where he picked up the rifle. He did not leave the rifle there. In fact, there was no evidence at the location. There was no evidence at the location, minus the boot print. And where he was exactly where we said, about 3.5 feet back from the lip, which is perfect because it's going to lower his sight line to any opposition to hit him on target. So the guy knew it enough to where to go, what position he wanted to be in exactly, and took his shot within a matter of seconds. That's pretty decisive. I will tell you this, he may not have been a pro, but his shot selection was decisive, because by the time that he decided to go ahead and sight line in and pull the trigger, it was probably about 7 to 10 seconds based upon the reports that we're hearing. That's a very steady and deliberate shot. And then also to have that, oh fuck moment, I'm about ready to kill a human being, which
Yeah.
pretty much would happen to every single person who hasn't done it before, no matter how crazy they are, is still going to have that moment of hesitation or that moment of, this is what I'm about to do, and I'm going to check it off in my head. Do I want to do this? You put all that together, and it sounds like he wasn't there for an extended period of time, that he got into position quickly. Go ahead.
It does make you wonder if you're trying to put all these puzzle pieces together to try and get a clearer picture. How long did he know in advance when Charlie Kirk was going to be there? When was it even announced?
Quite a bit further.
The moment it was announced, did he already like start trying to plan out? All right, like this would be a great chance for someone to unalive the guy. So I'm going to go ahead and get a layout. Oh, look, I can probably get on top of this building. Like I want to know how far back this went. When did Charlie even announce his arrival there? Because I have to imagine that the planning process started after that, shortly thereafter.
Well, there's some speculation that this person is the megaphone guy who, listen, all of this is speculative. First of all, the photos that you're seeing of this guy are completely digitally enhanced. Most of them are AI, and they're bullocks. They are completely bullocks. And here are the only photos released by the FBI. I'm going to release these. We've got a ton of information tonight, so please stay tuned. Please engage. This photo, I even have the shirt. I know where he bought the shirt. I already found it. Tools are amazing. And it's, I think it's a God Bless the USA shirt or Home of the Brave, one of the two, but it's an eagle.
Right.
And I've got a picture of the actual shirt where he got it from, or at least where it's sold online. And that's really dumb, because if I can find this shirt, I found the glasses, I found his hat, and I found his shirt. I found all three. And if I can find them, trust me when I say this, the FBI can find them too. And they know, and they have run, and they've
almost
subpoenaed.
Looks like an Adidas hat. Yeah.
No, it's something else. I've got a better picture of it, but I had the logo, and it almost looks like a Quicksilver hat. The Quicksilver logo.
Oh, yeah.
The Mountain Quicksilver. Yeah, and I think that's what it was, but it very well, I don't think it's Adidas. I can't remember what it looked like. I looked it up, but it was early this morning and I'm tired. But the point is I found the hat, I found the sunglasses, the Oakley wraparounds that he's wearing, and then also the shirt. And if I can find it, that means the FBI can find it. The FBI can find it. They're going to go ahead and subpoena those records from Amazon and any other place, and they're going to find out who's bought one in the last.
Be that hard.
Yep. And then you cross-reference it with known people in the area who rented a car, who rented a house, who rented an apartment.
Or bought that gun.
Bought that gun, which they now have. So what happened, let's get back to it real quick. So he went down the backside and dropped down, and he took the rifle with him. Now, a lot of people are like, why did he take the rifle with him? Well, because obviously the guy was concerned that the rifle could be led back to him. This is not a professional. This is not an assassin. Because an assassin isn't going to expose themselves like this guy was exposed and put him in a place where it's very hard to escape. If you look at it, it's very congested. Cameras are everywhere. They're going to hit this with poison. They're going to hit it with an explosive. They're going to do it something completely different, right? Because the goal is to not go on a nationwide manhunt. This isn't the movies, right? Somebody getting a rifle and popping somebody and then peeling off a mask, or, going into a Velcro container and then opening up an X-Wing and flying off in an Easy Light and going to Nova Scotia or some shit. This doesn't happen. It's not the fucking movies. So he took the rifle. It was in a cardboard box. It was supposedly wrapped in blankets. He ran across the street. There is a video of a guy running across the street. It's fake. It's not real. The AI enhanced picture that you saw of this guy where he's, chiseled feet, that's fake. Those are the only images that are approved. And then he ran into the woods. They have video of this, of him going into the woods from the security cameras at the location. That's where they knew where to look for the rifle. And then they went on a hunt. They brought in dogs. They looked in. They found the rifle. They found some additional rounds, which I'm assuming is 30-06 rounds, or 270 or 308 or whatever the hell it was. They found the actual firearm. And then they supposedly found what CNN says cultural writings, and AKA means transgender writings and references
Scribes.
and phrasing. Yeah, of transgender type stuff is the understanding. Then he exfilled from the woods and went through the suburb apartment and housing that was right next to them. And I've mapped it out, and I got it mapped, and he hit like 20 Ring cameras, and they got him on those cameras. And that is the full stop evidence that they have right now of this guy. But my understanding from the sources that I've spoken with is that they have a lot more. A lot more. And if they know his exfil and they know he went through the neighborhood, well, then they're probably going to be able to pick up what car he took.
Yep.
And if they pick up what car he took, then they've now this guy's already in a world of shit because they got a palm print, by the way. They got a palm print from the rifle itself. Now everyone's like, well, they're staging a patsy. Come on. Come on. This is not a movie. Okay?
Right.
This isn't Spy Game, okay? This is reality. This is a person who is clever, but clever people do stupid shit. Mangione looked like a genius until I told you they were going to catch him and told you what they were going to find, and that's exactly what happened. The same, Leeroy and I were on with Mangione. We told you, probably ditched his clothes here, maybe in Central Park. Or that's where he was. That's where they found him. Then they backtracked and they found his car. Then they found him on traffic light cameras. From the traffic light cameras, they saw him filling up gas. From the gas, they knew which way he was heading, and it's all it takes. So here's the information I can give you that I've had confirmed thus far. Is that I can confirm Mr. Sedge 0627 subscribe. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Nice to see our YouTube. Our YouTube's going crazy. YouTube's going crazy. We've gained 1,000 followers on YouTube. We haven't done that in 4 years. Instagram gained 2,000 followers. I haven't gained like 10 followers on Instagram in almost 5 years. So TikTok is growing. I mean, it's going. We're going viral right now. I don't know if you see this, but this number is just from last night. It's up 10,000. Anyway.
No, it wasn't. But 3 weeks ago, that number was sitting at like 245.
Yeah. So it's crushing. We're ready to break. We're almost at 300,000, folks. That's huge. All right. So I can confirm 100% that the United States Marshals have been deployed from the 2 major cities in Utah to this area. And U.S. Marshals, predominantly, their job is, as we know, they run security, they run OPSEC, they do many things, they serve warrants, they do a lot of amazing stuff, but they do asset recovery, but they also do human recovery, specifically convicts or specifically manhunts, and their responsibility is to run and operate communications and command and control for a statewide manhunt or citywide or whatever area. So the U.S. Marshals have been deployed. Now, why, Julie, I'll answer that in a second. It's a good question. So U.S. Marshals would be there to do one of two things. You remember what I told you last night? The first 24 hours are the most important, and that's when they tighten the noose.
Correct.
They pinch the area, they close off the area, they start squawking and talking to every door, they start hitting witnesses, they start putting the squeeze on, they start talking to informants, they start, going to gun stores and pawn shops, they start really putting on the pressure. And then after that first 24, which are the most critical to grab somebody, they let it open a little bit. And they go into collection and analysis, and they're waiting for that person to get a little more comfortable and make a mistake. Right. It's go ahead, Leeroy.
During the collection phase, right? They're literally collecting any piece of evidence, whether or not it doesn't matter. There's no bias involved with that. If they see a wrapper tucked away in a tree line somewhere, they're going to grab it, right?
Right.
And the idea is that once they're able to connect A to B to C, right, and start painting that picture, a more appropriate picture of not only the route this guy took, but also eventually it's going to lead to, where did he buy his bullets? Where did he buy the gun? Do we have proof that that is in fact him in the shirt? Were there any social media posts associated with that? They're going to go through all of this stuff, and that's going to take some time.
Thank you, Kathleen Schroeder. We love people subscribe. YouTube has been a dead stick for us for a long time. Facebook is where we're at. But now we're seeing TikTok grow. We're seeing Instagram grow. We're seeing, God, Threads. We have 1.7 million views on Threads, and I've got like 350 followers. That video we did the other day, it is crushing on every social media. And I guess it's been shared on a couple news stations, I've gotten word. So it's getting out there, and that's important for us because we've been trying for a long time. It's hard to break the industry. It's not that we suck at what we do. It's just there's so many people that you can consume, and it's a battle of attrition, and you've got to get out there to millions in order to be seen by thousands. And it's an incredible thing. Yeah. So we're really excited. Our page has had 74 million interactions in the last 36 hours. That's incredible. So that's pretty cool. All right. So United States Marshals are moving in. There is a Utah office. I told you it's a very big alphabet agencies in Utah. They really, for the Midwest, Utah is a hub for most intelligence agencies in the Midwest. The second thing that I cannot confirm yet, but I have received from very, very credible sources, but I haven't got confirmation, so I'm going to say this hesitantly, is that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are en route to Utah. That is, bless you. That is the other piece of information that I'll give you that I have that I cannot confirm with 100% certainty, but that is, I feel really comfortable at least with sharing it with you, that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel are en route to Utah. Now, there's a couple of reasons why. Is because the pressure's been turned up. It's possible that they are going to help coordinate this manhunt, which is they know who this person is, and now they need extra resources. And when you put a deputy director and director of the FBI literally in state with you in the command area of what you're trying to do, it's going to get boots moving a little bit faster. You throw a general or an admiral into something, usually things get shined just a little bit better and missions get completed just a little bit faster. Leeroy can attest to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it could be one of two reasons. One is that the investigation isn't going with the rapidity that they want, or that they have a target and they know who they're going after. My feeling is they know and have a just the overall pulse that I'm hearing is that, and I know it's hard for you guys when people go, this is what I'm hearing. And you're like, dude, you're so full of shit. I mean, you're not hearing anything. I stand by my credibility. I stand by Leeroy. I stand by what we do. And I'm not here to gain favors. I'm just, if you watch us for more than 5 minutes, you can figure out that we're pretty good at what we do. I'll just tell you this. It sounds like there's a lot of evidence and a lot of dots and a lot of T's being crossed, and they're bringing it together. And if they don't have a name already, they have sources, because you have to understand that rifle came from somewhere. And if that rifle came from somewhere, you're going to be able to find where it came from. And if you have a palm print, the database that you have access to now is going to return a result. And even if it's a palm print of a roommate or a pawnbroker or somebody else or a previous owner, you're going to find out where that gun was taken from. And you're going to be able to start piecing things together. If you have his boot size, you're going to know his stature and build. If you know where his clothes were purchased from, you're going to be able to identify based upon zone, based upon shipping, based upon the fade in the shirt. I mean, you guys don't understand. I mean, Leeroy can break it down for you. But when you're looking at a photograph or a piece of physical evidence, you look at everything. You even look at the fade level. You can check the chlorine content of the residues on the shirt to identify impurities in the water. There's a lot of things you can do to identify geographical structures. You can collect off shoes dirt to understand where that person's been. Their forensic evidence is so freaking vast and incredible that they will find something that will tie them Absolutely. To the killer. They just, you can't get away with it today. And if so let's go into some of these rumors before TS gets on. There's a rumor that there was a flight, a Learjet, which took off an hour after from one of the airports. Folks, I've looked at this flight. This thing did not disappear. It is it is common for flight data that is being updated that will show, if you use Flight Tracker, which I do. I've tracked the flight. You guys have seen me track flights before. Remember that Learjet that basically flew and headed towards Washington, D.C., and they squawked it, and they put a jet up against it, and then it crashed, and it went out with fuel. Remember that in the open field, and I showed you the tracking software? I've got the tracking software. When it's usually within the first, 6-7 hours of its flight, it can disappear off the radar because the servers are trying to stack. So this thing disappeared for 5 minutes, and everyone said, oh, my God, it was a ghost plane. It was the Jews, and they flew it off into Israel. And go look at the data now. It's 100% accounted for. Nothing happened. It's you guys are watching too many fucking movies. Okay? Too many movies. Okay. Let's go into some of the physical stuff. Let's go into where we can actually see some pictures, and then we can do some videos, and then we'll get TS on here, and we'll dive into this big.
I'm still so super pissed and raw about all of this.
Dude, don't even get me started. Only thing that's keeping me going is this show, and that people are dependent upon the information that we have. We have got a whole bunch of stuff. Here is Charlie being taken home back to, I think, Phoenix. This is him leaving Utah and the procession that went by. Figure I'd share it with you. Let me get the audio up. I'm sorry.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like.
Listen, some people are asking me what's another reason Dan and Cash would be there. Well, because they were friends, and I think they want to look the fucker in the eye and maybe give him some parting words, like, I just want to let you know you're going to get the electric chair, or we're going to stick you in the biggest hole, and you're going to understand what it felt like in the Chateau d'If, because you're going there and you're never going to see the light of day again. This is personal. I don't think you guys understand how angry Washington, D.C. is right now. The world's angry, but these are their friends. Cash and Dan were good friends of Charlie's. And you have, can you imagine having the full weight of the United States government personally have a vendetta against you? This is more personal than what Washington, D.C. felt towards Lee Harvey Oswald. Lee Harvey Oswald was taken out too quickly for vendettas. But whoever this person is, you have the entire weight of the U.S. government with no expense hunting you. And you are in Utah. And your picture is everywhere. And
Right.
you can't go home. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
And whatever cash you have on you is all you have. This guy's in trouble, and good.
Yeah, a lot of people, and for very good reason, right, will put out messaging that the internet has in fact made the world so much worse, and maybe there's some truth to that. But in cases like this, it has also made the world so much smaller that it's nearly impossible to hide from.
Our good friend T.S. Dixon is in the house. T.S., it is wonderful to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. How are you?
Hey, Matt, doing okay.
TS, it's good to see you.
Great to see you too.
As you know, I know you know Leeroy, but Leeroy, TS, Leeroy, figured we'd do it again. TS is the one of my favorite authors and good friends, and he has written the book, The Woke Mind Viruses, and it's so weird because I was going through some of our conversation that we had, and we talked about this very thing of taking out political leaders when you can't make the argument. The next step is to eliminate the opposition, and it's so eerie, some of the things we talked about. But everyone who's called in, TS, we've allowed them to kind of process and talk about it themselves. And I know you were on RSBN today, and a lot of our viewers saw you today and said that your testimony was incredible, and we want to give you a chance to talk about it here. So the floor is yours before we get into anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to express how gutted I feel, and I think everybody that I talk to feels about the news yesterday. It was like being hit by a truck. And the tragedy, I think, grabs at our hearts. I mean, more than most. I mean, we see a lot of tragedy. We're really desensitized in our country with our news cycle and just the amount of things we're exposed to. But if you don't feel the pain of this loss, I mean, it's awful. It's just awful. And just a good soul, a guy crusading for America and for all the people of America and for the West and for Christian and conservative values, and just trying to do what he could to get the word out and help people in his generation and be influential. And for him to be just struck down by obviously somebody with an ideological bend filled with hate, and we'll learn more once they capture them. But it's just awful, and for him to be taken so young, he's such a successful guy with so much potential, so much contribution, to be taken so early, and then obviously his beautiful young wife Erica and his two beautiful children. And if you have kids and a spouse, I mean, that it hits home. It's very painful.
Yeah.
So I just been praying for their family and their loved ones and those kids. I really am. But I think we should honor Charlie's sacrifice and what Charlie's done, and what he represented. And I talk about that we are plagued by these woke mind viruses, liberalism, leftism, wokeism, and globalism in that book. And it's a funny story. I put the book out in January, and it was brand new. I don't come from this industry. I decided I need to do something to be more politically involved and to try and help push America back towards the right direction. Whatever way I could, I needed to help. My wife and I felt that. And so I reached out to a bunch of prominent conservatives when I started, just, shot in the dark to see if they would respond to me and just give me some advice on how to promote the book and get the word out. And one of those people was Charlie. And he responded to me right away. I think the next day he got back to me. And then he just answered my questions and gave me advice and said, "Hey, man, this is my personal email. And just keep me posted on what develops with your book. I want to follow what's going on with your book and how it goes." And that's how good of a guy he was. Successful and busy. He's running a giant organization. I'm a random guy he doesn't know, reached out to him, first-time author, and he took the time to respond to me, answer my questions, and showed an interest. Mm-hmm. That was my only interaction with Charlie, but I just think he was salt of the earth, and we lost an incredible one. And so, I was on RSBN earlier today. One of my ideas in the book, we go, what can we do? What can we do about this? Our country's broken. This has devastated at least half of the country. And then we see these other sick people celebrating on social media, reveling in the death of this young man. It's disgusting. And you just see this ideology and how evil it is and how violent it is. I cover a whole section on just how violent liberalism is. Leftism is in the book. There's an entire section on how violent and even in some countries genocidal it is. While they cloak themselves in our flags and they cloak themselves as loving and out for the little guy, the reality is they're extremely violent. They've always been violent and oppressive. Yes. It's from the root of their belief system and their ideology and their movement. And we just saw it on display yesterday. Yeah. And so if we ask, what can we do about it? Well, I propose in the end of the book a legislative agenda. They have their omnibus style where they bills where they pack every spending bill and every piece of corruption and kickback and earmark into one giant $1 trillion bill and force Congress to pass it, or else the government's going to shut down, or they don't love starving children, or whatever is in the bill. Some fraction of the bill, and that's how they manipulate us and use our system of legislation against us. So I propose, let's take all of our anti-corruption bills and laws that we want passed. I recommend 33 of them in the book, everything from teaching the DEI and trans stuff in schools, which we have executive order, we need legislation, to banking reform, to credit card reform, to central banking reform, to reforming the CIA, the FBI, the spy agencies, to reforming the Patriot Act, just 33 reforms that would transform this country. And I say, like, why don't we have an anti-corruption act and we have an omnibus style bill go through Congress. We need some champions and sponsors, maybe MTG or somebody could hear this and catch this idea and put something like this together. But then we would have everything housed in one bill like they do to us, we could do to our government. And, I don't think we should call it the anti-corruption bill anymore. I think in honor of Charlie, Charlie started off talking about conservative policies and lowering taxes. So in honor of him and his entire career and his legacy, I think we should call this bill the Charlie Kirk Act. And that President Trump and MTG and the other members of Congress should champion this and sponsor this kind of a bill, get it through Congress, and Trump should sign it, and we should get reform in America in honor of Charlie Kirk.
It's interesting you say that, TS, because you know me, you like to use a feather, a quill, and some iron gall ink, and I'm more of a grenade type guy. And I think what you should do is you should propose on top of that to make political affiliation, any type of violence against it, a hate crime. And let's use the liberals' laws that they use against people, against them. And can you imagine if you say, well, now politics, if you go after somebody, try to harm someone, any violence against them, call it the Charlie Kirk hate crime bill, and watch them vote against it, because they would, and they would realize what that would do, because every BLM riot or every Antifa person would go to jail for hate crimes. Anyone who attacked a federal building or a mom and pop business would go to jail for hate crimes. Could you imagine watching the left burn if they tried to push that bill through? You want to expose them, that's how you do it. So I'm kind of with you on that.
What's sickening is we have a backlog of unanswered, uninvestigated, unpunished crimes against conservatives. We have an open persecution against conservatives in this country for the past 8 years, really 10 years. And it's disgusting. And I can list off crime after crime of violent act against conservatives where people have gone off scot-free or got medals and rewards from the left. The left covers for them. The investigations don't happen or they don't go anywhere, and where they cover it up. And these people are still free, walking free, no consequences. And is it any surprise after a record run of persecution and violent crime against conservatives that it's now elevated to this level where they are so brazen and bold that they will openly assassinate a young conservative speaker at an event at a college campus? It's disgusting. Yeah. But, if you dox conservatives and threaten their family that the police might, kill them in the act of raiding their house, because a 911 call that the husband's murdered the wife or something, and you do this to conservatives, guess what? I haven't heard of one person get arrested or go to jail for that, but that happened to many, many conservative families, threatening them. Over and over, we have the violence against Trump, the violence against others, and nothing's done. Where are the investigations? Where are the arrests? Where is the deterrence to any of these other copycats, any of these other maniacs that are infected with this mind virus, to deter them from taking these kinds of violent actions? There isn't any.
It's interesting you say that, and then Leeroy, I'm sure he has something, and then I want to plug this real quick. When you take a look at the persecution of Republicans and what it is, and I look at the shooting, and people are saying this is a turning point, and it's kind of apropos that he named the company Turning Point, and this is an inflection point. It's not a turning point. A turn means a change of direction. An inflection point means an explosion of your current position and current stance outward. And this is, in my opinion, the Columbine. As impactful as that was to set decades of school shootings, this is going to set the precipice
copycats.
Of copycat shootings of political opponents. Because let's face it, we've become anesthetized to school shootings. Thoughts and prayers, or ban everything, and that's really where.
And they
we're
never
at.
put in armed guards in the public schools.
No, or they don't.
Never. There's no protection for those students.
No, or the VA teachers, or the watch guard group that we did in Houston, where they allowed us to go ahead and have an AR-15. We strapped it across our chest. We kept it low and slow, and we walked and we open car doors and brought families in to the school and brought the kids in and walked them in, and we protected them. And they don't have the guts to do it. And I guarantee you this, I would do it. I'm a work at home dad. I would give them 10 to 15 hours. I'd be there every single morning. I know Leeroy would do it. I know you would do it. Yep. And you have veterans, millions of us who will do it. Folks, this is T.S. Dixon's book, The Woke Mind Viruses. And T.S. is a good friend. He's been in our studio. I asked him if he wanted to come on. He's like, yep. And he has an open invite. He's already a part of our show. We feel like he's a host. He's the one that dresses up way too much, so we can't bring him on too long because he'll change us.
Makes me look bad.
But he does. You can go to the Don't Unfriend Me show and you can buy this book right now, or you can go to Amazon and buy it. You can download the digital copy. You can also get the audio version, which is out. These two were actually signed and autographed for our good friends Bobby and Frank. And TS sent these to me, and he got them to me in 2 days, and they're going to be going out today. So I want to say thank you for that, TS. Leeroy, questions, comments? What do you got?
No, just brilliant commentary as normal. I think that one of the things that I've run into more than anything else, TS, and you can tell me if I'm on the right track here or not, is that people seem to lack the goalpost, the understanding of what it means to be either far right or far left, or how, in my personal opinion, something you had hinted on, is that the further left you go in the political spectrum, the more violent they tend to become. And I've never seen a violent libertarian. I've never seen the type of person who says, just leave me the hell alone. Right. Or you're going to get murdered. Right. It doesn't, generally speaking, that doesn't happen.
No.
So to your point, the further left you go, and this is kind of backed up by Maoism, Stalinism, Marxism, fascism, I still maintain was born out of the left. And without the understanding of what those goalposts are and how that incline towards violence occurs on the left, most people just assume that, oh, if that person is speaking about the freedom of speech, if they're speaking about the freedom for the Second Amendment, the ability to defend yourself legally, that you're automatically right wing and that you're somehow a fascist. And it's because they don't understand those goalposts. Tell me if I'm right or wrong.
No, you're dead right. You know, I think I mentioned this earlier. There's a whole section. I cover a whole section. I had no lack of material of evidence of just how violent and vile the liberal ideology is. And people think, oh, liberalism means you're loving. You stick up for the little guy. You protect minorities, gays, women, transgenders. But really, those are the 5 lies of liberalism. That's the front that's given to the public to deceive them into politically supporting and contributing to their movement, because they need public support in order to stay in power. And so they lie, deceive, manipulate, and play word games in order to trick people into keeping them in office. That's what they do. But their ideology goes back to the 1800s and took full form in the 1920s and 30s under FDR. And it starts with Darwinism, Friedrich Nietzsche, and then Karl Marx. And then it was adapted for an American audience by 3 American thinkers and authors which all coalesced and taught and advised FDR, who brought it to America. And we've been infected and plagued by this blight ever since. And it's extremely violent. It was violent from its inception, and it's violent today. And the offshoots of it, like woke, and these cultural Marxists, this new form of cultural Marxism that comes from the Frankfurt School, which we cover the origin story and the whole progress of it in the book. These are the radicals. These are the brown shirts. These are the foot soldiers. And so one of these foot soldiers got his gun and trained it on Charlie Kirk and committed this heinous act. And it's reported by Crowder and I think CBS that there was trans and Antifa ideology and symbols and words carved into the gun and the bullets, like we saw with this recent trans shooter with the Catholic, I think it was an elementary school, where he was carving different things into his gun and bullets and whatnot. Yeah. And so these people are sadistic, and they're breeding. They want to promote and breed this kind of killer to go out and do their dirty work for them.
CNN just called TS and they said you're supposed to call it cultural writings. You can't say transgender. You can't do that. Yeah, in a
Oh,
second.
I
We
can't
have
say
to
that?
No, they said it's called cultural writings on CNN. Absolutely, Leroy. Just one second. I got to keep going forward with addressing information. By the way, we've got 227 on in legacy and another 140 in non-legacy. It's wonderful to see so many people. And folks, please share this on Twitter. You got to get it out there. Facebook is crushing tonight, but we need to get it out everywhere. I'm just going to.
If somebody could clip some of these recommendations and please send them to MTG, send them to members of Congress, send them to Trump. Maybe we can get the word out about this idea of the Charlie Kirk Act.
I agree with you. I still think they need to do the political hate crime. You've got to play it with the left at their own game, and I love their ideas too.
Matt, I think we should dramatically increase the penalty for political violence in this country. It's got to be deterred. And you can't have one side shielding political violent actors from that attack the other side.
Yeah. Melissa, it's funny you mentioned that. If only you would have heard that somewhere on the Don't Unfriend Me show first. All the information I gave you is now coming out. Isn't that funny how the news media is always second fiddle to the Don't Unfriend Me show, and our sources are always so correct? New video.
You guys are on the cutting edge, man.
We're killing it. People, sorry for the the vernacular. New video of suspect just released. He's limping. Fox showing new video captured by a home camera of suspect walking down the street. Didn't I tell you? And you're also going to hear soon about the U.S. Marshals, and you'll probably hear about Cash Patel and Dan Bongino in Utah. And he was hurt when he fell down. They had that on video because he jumped off. He threw down the weapon, and then he jumped off the back side of the building. It's a matter of time before this guy gets caught. There's other information that I can't tell you about, but they have a plethora of evidence on this guy. I want to address this. Folks, this happened under Trump and Butler. This happened over several different occasions. The Ukraine war, this happened. Amazon has books being released literally the day before something happens. And here is the video of this guy doing this. I actually like this guy. I've seen him before. I don't know his name. But this frustrates me when people don't do some basic research. But let me go ahead and put this one to bed too, which is another debunked crap. Jonathan, I know, and listen, I'm excited you guys are starting to see it, but the media is always behind us because we actually do one thing. We have human intelligence sources. We don't sit here and predict. We talk to people. We build relationships. This is what we do. And then these people come to us, and they don't tell us to get it on the show. They tell us because we're friends. They tell us because we get along. It's how TS and I built a relationship. It's about how Laura Logan's going to be coming on. Now, I may not be the best podcaster in the world, but I am good at building relationships and doing what I promise for people, and I keep my word, and that goes a long way in this business. Here is this video. Let's give it a watch.
This one here has got me a little confused. A new book that was released about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And what's so confusing about it? Well, its publication date. You see, September 9th is the day before Charlie Kirk was shot. He was shot yesterday. That was the 10th. This book was published the day before he was shot. Seems odd, doesn't it?
No, it's not. Not when you actually do a little bit of research and understand how servers work and post-dating listings work. Folks, you need to understand there are books that are written for things that people can assume can happen. And what they do is they change the cover. They run a clever little changing the front. They change the title. And then the context of the book really don't have much to do with it. Then they throw it on sale. They also can post-date and predate with pre-orders. You can do that when you post a listing. There's also server confliction where if something maybe is put in overseas or it's put on in another time zone at 11 o'clock on one day, it will post date for the other day. Usually Amazon servers will catch up to this and they will get this with redundancies to catch these things. This happened during Trump shooting. This is what people do. This is how they sell books and this is how they garner attention. This is a normal thing. This isn't some big conspiracy. It happens all the time. You know, it's great. We have T.S. Dixon, who happens to be an expert on posting his Amazon book and can probably confirm everything I'm saying. So
yeah, absolutely, Matt.
Hey,
Frank,
can I ask a question real quick to TS?
Yes, you do. Frank Wood donate $25. TS, I'm reading your book right now. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for reading it.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Frank.
Go ahead, Leeroy.
That's awesome. And I hope this actually comes out in the book. I'm sure this is in there. You probably have an entire chapter dedicated to this. But given the reports and given the reports of engravings that are on the sides of the rounds and the bullets, speaking to the idea of transgenderism, and the kind of the hint or the notion that in some way, shape, or form, this was a victimhood mentality kind of striking out against the voice. How important is the idea of victimhood identity to the left?
It's central. So what Karl Marx did was he took the ideas of Darwin and Nietzsche that were more philosophical and pseudoscientific and turned them into actionable steps. That's the Communist Manifesto, the 10 planks. But he also created a framework for his model. And the framework is very simple. It's 2 steps. First, you have to divide the nation into classes. This is called class warfare. So you take a whole nation or a whole family or whatever, and then you have to turn people against each other, these groups, and to divide them. And you always divide them into one group, that's the victim group, the oppressed. In Russia, they call it the proletariat. And then the other group is going to be the bad guys. So these are the good guys, the innocent, the victims, those being, beaten down and mistreated. And then
Alexander Solzhenitsyn, yeah.
Exactly. And then you have the bourgeoisie or whatever. These are the oppressors. And so in Russia, they had the royals and the rich and the oligarchs were the bourgeoisie, and the proletariat were all the workers and all the poor people. And so they enraged them with the class warfare and said, we need then step 2, which is social justice and revolution. And so that's how it works. It's very simple. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. First, they have to have the class warfare, and then the social justice revolution. That's the entire story. And so in America, what the Frankfurt School realized is it failed here because Teddy Roosevelt made the workers prosperous with his great reforms at the end of the 1800s, which is why America in the 1900s was set up for so much prosperity, and the workers didn't revolt, even though they tried to get them to. And so they had to come up at the Frankfurt School in Germany in the 30s with a different plan, and that's called cultural Marxism. They realized the vector points to attack in the West were not rich versus poor, because our poor were too prosperous. So instead, they have to have the blacks against the whites. They're the victim group against the whites. It's the whole system works that way. It's a secular theology. It's a political religion, where you're saved by political works. That's what saves you. All right. And so then you have to have women that become a proletariat or a beaten down class, a second class, being oppressed by the patriarchy and by all men. There it is. There's the class warfare. Or now gays, LGBTs, transgenders, they're being oppressed by who? Straight people, heterosexuals, gender normatives. We don't care about that. They can live their lives. We're not concerned with them. But somehow we're oppressing them because that's the framework. They've got to jam it in and fit it in. So if you are one of these groups and you're taught you're this victim, you're this proletariat, because you're being manipulated by leftists, they have a political agenda. But you really believe the ideology. The modern version, I call it the 5 lies. It's social justice, it's LGBTism, it's climate alarmism, it's radical feminism, and it's critical race theory. And these are the 5 modern lies of liberalism that they've used to create the woke hysteria. And so if you believe the 5 lies and that the world and America and the West is unjust, and these are the bourgeoisie, these are the majority whites and the straights and the gender normatives and the men, all here to oppress and abuse us. And we need justice. And if you're not one of that group, you need to be an ally. And we need to fight back, right? This is the story. This is why they raged in the street in 2020. Because as soon as they saw the George Floyd video, it confirmed the 5 lies. It confirmed this entire ideology. It must be true. We're watching it. It's on camera, right? And with these trans shooters, they are so enraged. They so hate these Christian, gender normative, even children, right? Or Charlie Kirk. We got to hate him. Why? He ticks off. He's the bourgeoisie. He's white. He's wealthy. He's a Christian. He's a conservative. He's male. He's not trans. So he's the enemy. He's oppressing us. We've got to stop him. That's the psychology that these people are worked up with from this class warfare mentality that's been drilled into them and given them this psychosis. So to the point where they feel that it's justified to kill.
Right.
That's the psychology of this.
Well, it helps when you call him Hitler. Come on.
Hitler, and they were just saying how he was being racist because he was pointing out the fact that this deranged lunatic in Charlotte stabbed this poor Ukrainian refugee on was it a bus or a train or something?
Yeah,
stabbed her right in the neck and killed her, and said, "I got that white girl," or "I got that white whatever."
Yeah.
And he was pointing that out, that the man was it was a racist attack of his own words.
Yeah, we
I
covered
don't know what
that.
to tell you. They were going after Charlie and saying, "Oh, on big cable news stations, they were going after Charlie." For
They labeled him in the Wash Post. They labeled him a white Christian nationalist. Charlie Kirk was slain, and you're like, "Is it a white Christian nationalist?" Give you guys.
These people are sick, Matt. They're sick.
I'm aware. Trust me. I've been working against them for 5 years, and this isn't the first time. I mean, if I shared the amount of death threats that I've gotten from these people, and I'm nothing. But they hate me, certainly. I don't even know if I want to make it to the national stage, because I'm sure they'll take me out, or try to at least. Listen, military hand signals, MEAL Team 6, U.S. Gravy SEALs. Can you guys calm down a little bit? Everyone out here who pretends that they're special forces, or they understand, what a high-powered rifle can do, and they're like, that was a precision shot. And I look at the person, it's like Kim Jackson from Mississippi, who's like a mother of 7. I understand that people want to apply and relate to stories, and I get that. It's a natural human thing. I'm not trying to insult anybody, but what I'm trying to say is leave the stuff to the experts. Just because something comes out and you read something on Wikipedia or AI, it doesn't make you an expert. There's things that we don't touch. I'm never going to talk about the Beverly Hills housewives. That's just not my thing. I'm not going to tell you about underwater basket weaving or how to cook creme brulee. But when it comes down to military stuff, I'm probably going to chime in. This is an example. First of all, the gentleman who's in the white hat is one of Charlie Kirk's lifelong friends, and is not showing signals to a shooter on who to kill. And the other guy is his head of security. And I will tell you the reason why certain things take place, like checking your watch when you run security, is because you're running timetables. And when you're a head of security, you're checking intervals, and you're checking for flows and patterns and everything else. You're also making sure that your guys are doing their jobs. Time is an essential part of operational security. It's actually a huge part of it, because not only do you want to go ahead and maintain the parameter of time that you have responsible, that you're going to have to put your high value target in danger, you're also going to want to know when to get them out and how close you are to moving to the next phase of the operation, which would be to exfil from the area you currently are. These people are making it all this grandiose thing that this guy is sending signals and standing behind Charlie Kirk, where a high-powered rifle is going to start sending rounds downrange. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't stand there and do it, but we'll watch the video anyway. Here is another one we have to debunk. Here it is.
Aware of hand signals being thrown up. And these two men need to really be looked into. With some of the sniper-looking signals, especially coming from the guy in the white and the guy in the black.
Wow.
That's such, wow. What amazing research skills. Yeah, you know what? He's either telling the sniper to full fire, or he's telling him to steal first. I don't know which one.
Yeah. Breach, right? Yeah.
Right. This one's full send. Right, full send.
You know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang?
I'm not going to put the rest, because we know what happens right after that.
It's ridiculous.
I will tell you quickly, is just chime in, and then I want to get both your opinions. But they may very well be communicating with other security, but they also had earpieces in. And trust me when I say this, that you're not going to throw arm signals when you can simply just go ahead and squawk and talk. That's what comms are for. And you don't want to let the shooter know that you're on to them. And if they saw the shooter, they would have been on Charlie. They would have taken him down, got him to the ground before the shooter engaged. You don't wait. You don't do some cryptic hand signal like a Navy SEAL and try to cryptically remove the threat. You are loud and you are proud, and you use a word that is familiar to Charlie to get down and take cover, and you storm the stage and you get on top of your HVT, and then you exfil the fuck out of there. That's what would have happened if they would have seen the shooter. So people just stop talking. Just shut up. mourn in a different way, because you're distracting from the truth. And this is what we saw with the political elections. This is what we saw with Donald Trump's assassination. This is what we've seen with Ukraine. It's nonstop. This level of disinformation are based on clicks, and people are trying to get you to click so they make money. That's what this is about. It has nothing to do with the education of you. TS, Leeroy, your thoughts on this if you have any?
TS?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see all sorts of angles coming out on this story, people throwing their 2 cents in, conspiracy theories and the like. And it's just noise. You've got to filter through the noise. What we really need is for this investigation to apprehend the suspect, and we need we need answers, and we need criminal justice.
Yeah, don't wait accountability. Ginger says, Matt, how come nobody security officers cleared the rooftop areas before he came on stage? This is not a presidential detail, folks. This is a small-time security force for what is known as the 6-foot shadow. So you're going to protect the 6 foot of your target, and then other people are responsible for getting the 15-foot target, the 100-foot target, etc. You don't have the personnel or the money to run a full sweep on all of those buildings, to maintain eyes on buildings and have counter fire and overwatch positions on those places. That would be millions of dollars per event. You guys just don't understand this. To have literally a 4 or 5 man bodyguard team is costing him $50,000 a week.
I don't want to be morbid about this, but it would also not shock me to find out that while they were trying to draft up contracts on when Charlie Kirk was going to speak there, if Charlie Kirk's security team had gotten in contact with the security team from the college and said, hey, can you guys guarantee everything beyond a certain range?
Right.
Or can you, something like, can you clear certain rooftops, or can you clear certain areas? And if Eileen Finati?
Get to the paragraph.
Donated $25.
Thank you for all the great information. So good to hear everybody. We love you, Eileen. Thank you. It's okay. Go ahead.
Sorry. So I would love to find out if there was any sort of communications between Charlie Kirk's security team and the security team from the college.
Yep. And Crowder's leak was legit. Everything Crowder said completely lined up with what I covered beforehand, but also some other stuff. So I'm just telling you, they got this guy on Ring camera multiple times, multiple cameras. They have more than you think. It's a matter now of this guy will pop his head up. He's got to get food. He's got to get clothing. He's got to find, I want you just to think about this. You have no home. You've got a car. You've got a limited amount of cash. You don't have people helping you. You have to find shelter. You've got to find food. You got to find security. You got to find safety. All of these things are extremely difficult to do when you literally have every form of resistance against you, every pair of eyes, every camera, every officer, every speeding ticket, every conversation you have, every Karen who is just nosy, who thinks you happen to look like the picture. Everything's against you. Every person is going to expose you. The chances of you without understanding how to get out of these situations, you're cooked.
Yeah. After the bolo went out on him, I have to imagine that the number of calls that went into local law enforcement and the FBI probably went up exponentially, saying, oh, I think I see him. So this guy is not going to even be able to check into a Red Roof Inn without seeing his own face thrown up on Fox News. There is a manhunt for the guy. They're going to find him.
I think his name will probably be released this week or next week or this weekend. I think it's a very short matter of time. Here's the sick angle, though. My question is, does this guy then become the next superstar Mangione character, where he's then a hero to all these sick leftists and woke-tards? And, these leftist young women are sending him love letters in the mail, wanting to marry him in prison, and where he's held up by the left as a hero for slaying a conservative thought leader.
I don't know, but I'm telling you that I would be surprised, being that this is a political assassination, if they don't hold him as a domestic terrorist. And that changes it because he won't be in the United States. They'll put him in Guantanamo. They'll put him somewhere else. And I really hope it happens. I hope they immediately, as soon as they find this guy and establish political motivations or find any ties overseas, that they make him a domestic terrorist, and then they everything changes. That you're not going to have some woke-ass $1 million lawyer, multi-million-dollar lawyer come in and say that he didn't breastfeed as a kid. You're not going to have that because he's going to be an enemy of the state, and you don't have to give him due process in the way that we normally, anticipate with the Constitution of the United States. And that's what we have to start doing. We have to start playing hardball. We have to start removing civil liberties of these people who remove the civil liberties of the individual. This is tyrannical rule. This is not what you do. You do not weaponize and go out and kill people and remove their rights and then expect to be treated accordingly. I don't believe in that. I just don't. I believe if you kill an individual like that your rights change. And yes, you get habeas corpus. Yes, you get due process. If you do something stupid and you commit a crime, but if it's a political motivated assassination like this, I think you're an enemy of the state. And I think you need to treat him like a domestic terrorist. That's just my opinion. Could be wrong. Leeroy doesn't agree with me, but I'm pissed. So I'm mad.
Well, they've thrown a lot of conservatives in jail under the auspices of terrorism and deprived them of their due process and their civil rights. They sure have.
Sure have. We have a phone call. I think it's Mel from Canada. Mel, did you want to say something if this is Mel?
I would. Thank you very much
Yes,
for letting me call in.
Yes.
Mr. Dixon, I'd like to thank you for your book. Your book was awesome. But I would like to ask you if you're going to expand on it you've exposed the woke, and that's been one of the biggest problems. Well, but I think there's a bigger problem on the horizon. I think you know that as well. And I just want to get your take. Are you going to take it to expanding your expertise in the knowledge gathering and exposing the Muslim takeover of what's happening now in the United States and Canada, Britain, like whatever. Like it's just, especially because with that, whatever he wants to calls himself in his white sheet, which I think he's the KKK guy with just out without the hood, threatening his fellow compatriots if you don't shut down your stores because you don't agree with Sharia, blah, 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 garbage.
Mel, let's let him answer that. I think he's got it. I mean, it's the Muslim takeover. We're seeing it with mass immigration and dumping of refugees into Europe has put Europe on a crash course of Germany, England, France. France is going through another revolution at this point. We're seeing it in Nepal. We've seen it in so many different European countries that ultimately Europe is going to fall. We know Europe's going to fall. The entire European continent is going to fall to Muslim control because they have surrendered their identity, their culture, and their people for this ideology. She wants to know if are you going to address it? Are you thinking about doing a book on it?
That's an interesting idea. I do mention how Islam is a sister ideology of leftism. That again, leftism was almost, in a way, very similarly modeled after Islam because it's a religion of political works. And, I draw comparisons of the basic tenets of Islam and how they match the basic practices of self-righteousness of the liberal order. How I had to focus the book, and I think the immediate threat in America are these four primary ideologies. But one of the ideologies I cover extensively is globalism. And the globalists are using mass migration of Islamists into Europe. They've tried to get them into the United States. They haven't been as successful. You have small towns, I think like Dearborn and some others, where they have really taken hold. Trump is doing a good job actually of counteracting that and getting a lot of them out. So I don't see the threat as dramatic in the United States, thank God, as it is in Britain and Europe, like Matt was referring to. But in Europe, according to the Kalergi plan and other stated political strategy documents, they are just absolutely flooding these used to be sovereign nation states and countries with Islamists in order to weaken them and break them down and destroy their national identity and assault them and assault their people. And this is the idea of globalism, is to dissolve and destroy nationhood. And so whether it's through, in our case, the third world coming up from the southern hemisphere to flood our country and our culture, luckily, we at least have a couple things in common with those groups, though I disagree with all the illegal immigration. I'm happy with the deportations. But in Europe, there is night and day. They fought for 1,000 years in the Crusades to protect Europe and the Mediterranean countries from Islam, because it was coming to conquer and conquest and destroy. And they raided Europe many times, took over Sicily, they took over much of Spain, and it was through much bloodshed
Morocco,
that the Europeans and Christendom fought them off. And now they just have flung the doors wide open and are flooding their countries with this culture that is in direct opposition. It seeks to conquer, it seeks to take over, like you said, and establish Sharia law. I'll consider it. I would definitely consider covering that in a book or maybe in some sort of a documentary or something. I would definitely consider that. I think you're right on. And it is a major threat, especially to Europe. We need our national identities back. We need our countries. The biggest threat to globalism seems counterintuitive. Why are they after Charlie Kirk because he's a patriot? Why are they after people that just love America? Isn't that a good thing? It's a bad thing if you're globalist to love America, or to love the UK if you're British, or to love Switzerland, or to love Sweden if you're a Swede, right? It's a bad thing because they want to dissolve all that. Yep. They want to get rid of national identity, national culture. They want to get rid of national boundaries, borders. They want to get rid of all of it. Why? So they can weaken us, divide us, demoralize us, destabilize us, and then conquer us, rule us. Yeah. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. That's the idea.
Right.
Or I can add something to that real quick.
Really, really super quick.
Yeah. So the idea of that TS has hinted on is that leftism and Islam share common connective tissue there. The key there is that they have a group identity, and Europe does not enjoy the same level of safeguards that we do here in the United States with regard to protection of the individual identity, which is why group identities and leftism is always going to have a problem getting that foothold here in the United States, because it's an uphill battle the entire time. They have the Constitution and the Bill of Rights that's going to fight them every way.
Go figure.
As well as Christianity, and I go into the history of what helped form America was the Reformation in Europe, and then the Great Awakening, and the Salvation experience being spread from Oxford to London and then over to the colonies. And that created the American individualism and the liberty movement. It came out of people converting to Christianity and experiencing the salvation experience as an individual, not as a group.
Got another caller. Mel, thank you, hon. We appreciate you. We love you. Go Canada. We'll talk to you soon, hon. Okay?
Love you. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Mel.
Thanks, Mel.
We got another caller on, and then I got to take a quick commercial because we got to hit goal. It's amazing when you have good shows like this, people forget to donate. It's totally cool. We appreciate it. We have a lot of people on right now. We get it, but we got to hit goal. Caller, and by the way, I want to say thanks to Jonathan Witten, I believe. He gave us a white and $20. I missed
Johnny.
Yeah. I missed it. I'm sorry, John.
Johnny.
I apologize,
It's okay.
buddy.
It's okay.
Go ahead. What do you want to talk about and ask Mr. Dixon or us?
Man, I love the show. Everything y'all have been talking about has been like dead on. I mean, because everything that the whole thing of that whole fake Amazon bullshit and stuff like that, I was like, oh man, I hope he gets in on it. And I was like, there he goes.
Did you go and look yourself? Did you go and look yourself?
Yeah,
because that's what we're trying to teach people to do.
That.
Good. That's what we're trying to teach people to do.
I already did that, dude.
Good.
Man, I appreciate it. I mean, I even said in the comments, I don't even know if you even saw it. And, it was one of those things where I had to just do a screenshot to these certain individuals and say, hey, you're full of shit, because this is just bullshit. It might either be AI or it might be just some random bullshit that somebody posted and published at whatever time. Man, I love you, man.
Well, we appreciate you, buddy.
I appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you, brother. That's what we appreciate you too, man. And thanks for listen. All we're trying to do is we're not trying to tell people you can't think. We're not telling people you can't have an opinion.
I know.
You just got to. If you're going to state something as fact, you better be able to back it up. And if you can't, then say,
exactly.
This is my emotional platitude. This is my comfort animal. These are the things I think. And then we don't have a problem. But when you start espousing it as fact, people are going to believe you.
Oh yeah.
This is why Charlie was so amazing. It's because he was a truth teller and he didn't make stuff up. He just told the truth. Hey, I got to let you go, Bubba. Thanks.
Okay. That's okay.
All right, man. Talk to you. Bye. Hey, folks, we are here with T.S. Dixon. He is a special guest of the show. He is the author of The Woke Mind Viruses. You can find it over on thedumbshow.com. You can also pick it up on Amazon. You can go to tsdixon.com and get it. You can get the audio version. You can get the print, the hardback. That's what I tend to like. And you can also get the digital version and audio version as well. Go over there and do that. I got a quick commercial. We'll be right back. More with T.S. Dixon and Leeroy. We've got other things to do. We are going to go into overtime tonight, but first we got to play this donation. We got to pay the bills. Right now we've paid the internet, and now we've got to go ahead and put the icing on the cake. We'll be right back after this. TS, I don't know if you've seen this, so you'll smile because you get to see the kids.
I can't wait.
You'll get to see the kids. So here it is.
Hi, I'm Olivia Spear, host of The Dumb Show. For 3.5 years, we never asked for donations, but after Facebook demonetized us for speaking the truth, we've had to turn to the one thing big tech can't cancel: you.
I'm Hayden, Matt and Olivia's daughter. This show's never chased sponsors or sold out. We've built something honest, and it's thanks to you.
I'm Ethan, their son. Every share, every dollar, every message, you're the reason we can keep calling out the BS and bringing color back to the world going gray.
If you want to help, we take PayPal, Venmo, or snail mail. You can send it to P.O. Box 2, Round Hill, Virginia 20142.
Can't donate? No problem. Just share the show with someone who needs to hear it.
Thanks for helping us stay loud, proud, and completely uncensored. You can donate at thedumbshow.com/donate.
You know what happens when you turn the dial harder? You can make a harder grimace. The harder you grimace, the more effective it is.
You tighten it so freaking I can't do it. I can't untighten
That's what she said.
That's what she's... Oof. Oof. Coming in with it. Pound it. Pound it. Pound it.
Child 15.
Ethan, you look like a hippie.
Totally tubular.
You know this is recording, right?
Okay, let's go. Smile. Donate. Don't start with me. Donations. Every time you don't smile, I'm going to punch you in the ribs. Donations. Take one. Scene one. Ready. Set. Ethan. Ready. Don't screw it up.
Okay.
Ethan, don't mess this up. Ready. Set. Action. No. Whoa. Director calls action, not some stupid toddler.
But we've built something
There's
honest.
no but there. Why do you've been doing this since you were 2 years old. Try it again.
Just share the show with someone who needs to hear it.
He's so much better than you at everything.
He's better at
Hayden, he's just like, even, it's just like, go ahead, Hayden.
Thanks for helping us stay loud, proud, and completely uncensored.
That's a wrap. Well done, Spear family. I bet we make no money.
But we're going to owe them money without.
Hayden, do your
Oh, yeah, cut it.
Baby shark, doo 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 doo.
Love my family. I had a friend reach out to me. His name's Mike Turgison, and he's an old employee of mine. And God, he's not a kid anymore. And he looks so much like Leeroy. And I just realized it when he wrote me. And I'm like, that's probably why I love Leeroy so much, because I just have a special place in my heart for Mike. Oh. And he watched my daughter's Instagram page, and he's like, I've just watched your daughter grow up. And she responded to Charlie Kirk, and she gets a lot of hell for being a conservative. And I didn't influence her politics at all, like zero. Like I didn't. I never did. I always talked to her. I always let her have her own opinions. And she asked me, and I told her the truth. I said, listen, this is like I talk to people on the show. Real quick, want to say thank you to Daniela Santiago, $20. Thank you for taking your time to talk about all the topics. Charlie Kirk may fly with the angels and never be forgotten. He gave his life for us. Thank you so much, Danielle. And so Mike just came in and says, dude, your daughter's amazing, and she should never have had to see what she saw. But when I think about my family right there, I guess Erica Kirk, when the shot rang out, his children ran to Charlie, and because they got scared. And, you know, it's funny. People always ask me, are you afraid? And no, I mean, like I said, I've had death threats. I'm not afraid of any fight. I'm going to go sometime, and you know what? I'm going to take as many of those sons of bitches with me that I can if they decide to go ahead and bring that fight to my door. But I worry about my kids, and I worry about my wife, and I worry about my friends. So this has got to obviously be on Charlie Kirk's mind and every other influencer out there as we're all fearful of our family. Patricia Good, thank you for the donation. Patricia. I want to show you guys something, and and then I'm going to turn it over to you two to kind of take us home. Nick Freitas, very much like TS, is somebody who I admire quite a bit. And, you know, I've broken bread with TS. I've had him in my house, and I consider him a dear friend. And when we met, we shook hands, and when we left, we hugged. We didn't cuddle, but we did hug, which is good. Cuddling is next time. But Nick Freitas is somebody who I admire. And the reason why is because I believe I see some things of myself in him. And Mike Rowe is a person who I also admire because I kind of try to see myself in the people who I want to emulate. And Leeroy is a person who I look to, and TS and everybody else. These are people who I look up to. But Jeff Oliphant, $25. Great informative shows like this.
Thank you, Jeff.
Seem to generate poor donation levels. Well, it's because it gets people sucked in and they forget to donate. But everyone's going to kick it in now. They know. So let's just keep crushing it. So here's Nick Freitas. It's 4 minutes, and I think it's probably the best 4 minutes that I could possibly share with you. It's the most pure and raw reaction to Charlie Kirk that I've seen. It's real. I watch this man. I study him. I believe I have a more of a tutelage relationship with him that I really learn from him when I listen to him, and I learn how I would love to communicate because he's just so damn good at it. I wanted to share this with everybody because it moved me to tears. And I thought it was absolutely beautiful to see this special forces military man put himself in Charlie's position and humble himself and put his thought process prostate to Charlie's as such a young man and a person who is so experienced. Angela Hills donated $20. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, for everyone who lost their lives on 9/11. God bless, and thank you for saying that. Listen to this. I think you both will enjoy it immensely.
But the first thing I want to do, and as a husband and father, forgive me because I'm gonna try to get through it as best I can. To Erica Kirk, there was a debt that I think a lot of us felt like we owed to Charlie because of the way he lived his life and because of how hard he fought for the things that he believed in. And I just want you to know that debt transfers to you. Anything your family requires. I think there's a lot of us that would be there very quickly should you need it. To Charlie's children, as a father, I want you to know that one of the things that impressed me most about your dad was when he was asked very recently what he wanted to be remembered for. It was the courage of his faith. Nothing of all the accolades or earthly titles that your father received and deserved. None of them gave him as much joy as being a husband to your mother and a father to you guys. It was just evident. So I'll always remember him as a man that had the courage of his faith. What I would want you to know about your dad. And I know you're going to have a lot of people that will be more than happy to tell you about him. Was it for me? He represented how well a life can be lived. When you are more concerned about what God says to you when you arrive than what man says about you when you're gone. And I have no doubt that he heard, "Well done, good and faithful servant," which for all of us is the greatest compliment, the greatest accolade anyone could ever receive. It is one of the incredible things about the Christian faith where we recognize our sin and our dependency upon God. We recognize that he gives us the ability to be a part of something beautiful. And that when we embrace that, we have the opportunity to hear those words when we see them. And I have no doubt that you will get to see your dad again under much happier circumstances. In the meantime, the rest of us have a lot of work to do and a lot to live up to. But I want you to know that your father was very loved, very respected. And that love and that respect and that care and that concern also transfers to you and your mother.
You know, I always want to learn things I don't know about people, you know, and comment was made, you should watch the beginning of it. I did. And I watched where he trounced the left, but I can do that all day long. I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. That was ripped out of me a long time ago, to be that vulnerable in front of people. So I don't do it very often, but I will tell you, he taught me things, and that is what I want, is I want to be taught things. And it's the simple phrase of a man more concerned about what is said about him when he arrives versus, you know, what was said after he leaves is just a powerful statement. And it's truly incredible. It's a beautiful statement. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts. I know you both are warrior poets, and then I want to give an update on a Canadian who reached out to me today and said, "Matt, I need your help getting this person aerated from work." Well, I'm happy to tell you that this person is, and we'll share the story with you in a second. So, TS, you're our guest. Why don't you go ahead and start, and then Leeroy, you can wrap us up.
Yeah, I mean, that was a beautiful clip. I think one of the things that Charlie was so unique and such an example, and he almost didn't realize it until he was taken, just how unique he was and just what an example he was of just how dialed in to his understanding, his beliefs and his convictions he was, and that he stuck to them and he lived by them. And there was a few things where he adjusted along the way, where he learned and adjusted and course corrected, but for the most part, he just understood these values of Christianity and conservatism and patriotism. Mm-hmm. And these are the powerful ideas that, you know, saved the human race and brought us into the free world and gave birth to the modern world that we've enjoyed our entire lives. We've never known anything different, but we don't always appreciate or understand where it all came from. And he learned that at a young age and identified with those values, and he embodied that. And he didn't stray from it. He represented it, and he knew the power of spreading these ideas because they're the truth, and the truth will set you free. And the truth is the thing that is going to, reinforce America and keep us strong and keep us from falling. Everyone wants to say we're a falling empire. We don't have to be. Right. You know, our values are so powerful. They created the free world. They brought us out of 6,000 years of darkness and into modernity. So I just applaud him. He's such an example. Like the clip said, it's something for all of us to have to live up to. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he understood what an example he was being, you know, but he was. Yeah. And he's instantly become this incredible inspiration. And I really hope that we can have massive political movement, massive political action to honor this man.
Yeah. We're going to need it. There's a lot of smart people on the right, and we don't get the credit. The educated party used to be the party of free speech. It used to be the party for civil rights, civil liberties. That's not their party anymore. It's our party, and we represent the working man, and we represent the underrepresented voice in this country. And if we want to continue, Western civilization is alive and well in this house, and there's people who are trying to tear it down, and they've been trying to do it not just for 5 years, not for 10 years, but thousands of years. If you follow T.S. Dixon and you go over to his website, tsdixon.com, I believe that's what it is. Go over there, buy his book, go to Amazon, search T.S. Dixon, or go to The Dumb Show at thedumbshow.com, pick it up and buy it. He'll tell you all about it. And trust me, I've read it through and through. I tab it, I read it. It's like the second good book that I have. The first one is the Bible, and then this one. And I'll tell you what, it teaches you a lot. I learn something new every time I read it. Leeroy, I know you love Nick Freitas. I know he's a good friend of yours that he doesn't know, and I don't know, but we're good friends of his. He just doesn't know it yet. But tell me your thoughts.
Well, obviously he was extremely emotional, and yes, to your point, there's a level of vulnerability that he threw out there that, needs to be respected. And certainly something that Charlie Kirk had done was he inspired others to think for themselves, to think for as an individual. And while Nick was talking about that, the first thing that came to my mind was an old Bruce Lee quote that said that the key to immortality is first living a life worth remembering. And I think there is so much documentation. There are so many videos, so many positive things that he has put forth in trying to bring youth into the Republican Party. I was listening to somebody talk about this earlier, that the reason he was such a threat was because the grand old party has always been thought of as this old person party. And what he had done was to kind of invigorate that party, our party, with youth, with bringing in younger people to, again, think for themselves and to not necessarily go with the group think. So, yeah, Nick Freitas is an amazing man. Charlie Kirk will always be remembered. And yeah. Can I add something else too?
Sure, dude. Of course.
While we were, this is specifically about TS. While we were kind of going through things, if you go to TS Dixon's website and you go through his citations list, I have said this before,
dude. I know.
If you really want to gauge the quality of somebody's body of work and to understand how well they have been able to string together certain philosophies in order to form a cohesive opinion, right? Go to their citations. And I'm just going to throw a few of them out here. Number 7 on the list is the Declaration of Independence. Number 8 is the Constitution. Number 9 is works by Adam Smith. He's got John Locke on there, Rene Descartes, Edmund Burke, who is probably one of the greats.
Right.
Edmund Burke was the guy who said the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. And so the list goes on and on. And so if you're really looking for this amazing work that incorporates all of these different philosophies, please pick this book up.
Did I see 1986 Playboy Centerfold as one of your? That
might have been mine.
I better not. My wife would kill me.
I was like, wait a second. That looked a little. I think I had that cover. Folks, I want to do our good friend, new friend from Canada. First of all, there's two. We have our friend over on Twitch who's watching, who made a comment that felt that the shooter was a professional. I just want to let you guys know everything I'm hearing, everything I've seen is a professional is a person who doesn't get caught. And a true assassin is a person that can perform that assassination without anyone knowing an assassination took place. And in today's world, an assassin is not going to want to expose themselves. And they're not going to give themselves, they want to be out of the country as quick as humanly possible and want to have exfil. This would not have been a place I would have chosen. It had very few escape routes. It was suburbs. It was surrounded by large buildings and technical. There would be a lot of security. There'd be a lot of cameras, a lot of eyes. There weren't access to freeways and highways for escape routes. Major airports were too distanced. Any type of rivers or any type of, any other type of escape points and egress points were limited. This is not a professional. This is somebody who decided to, because they weren't capable of combating somebody in the arena of thought, decided instead of winning the argument simply to kill the argument. And this is what the left has done. TS has alluded to it. And it doesn't matter whether we go back to the days of Romans or we can go back to the Egyptians or go back to the Huns or go, it doesn't matter where we are in history. It's not just the left, but opposition kills free thought. Because the only answer to it is to destroy it, because that's how you control it. And this is what happened with the slaves and the pharaohs, and they would remove writing and they would move their ability to catalog history so they wouldn't learn and they couldn't pass it down along the generations, and they silenced them and removed their tongues, because when people can't catalog their history, they are doomed to repeat it. What is past is prologue, for the quote. So you can find out more about this, and especially on NTS's book. This is Canadian leftist Devon Cassidy. She worked at Legal Aid British Columbia. And I know you're calling, but I've got to shift and I got to do this video, so hang tight. I know I told you to call into the show, but hang tight. She was celebrating and hysterically laughing about the killing of Charlie Kirk, and she's in Canada. And a concerned listener just said, Matt, what can you do? Can you help out? What can I? Well, I didn't get much done because by the time I did, I'll tell you what happened after you watch the video. Here is this deranged human being. First of all,
Charlie Kirk got shot and he's dead. Finally, somebody with a gun, which is almost everybody in the fucking States, grew a pair and fucking went and shot somebody on the right side. Thank you. Can we keep this up, please? Charlie Kirk.
So,
shot and he's dead.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. She's really excited. God, deranged left people. Why are they always single? She no longer has a job. Legal Aid British Columbia has released a statement calling her now a former employee, and she is now all over social media. As much as Canada allows social media and free speech to take place, she won't be presenting much of it anymore because she's going to have a hard time finding a job. She is gone. Courtney, you can call in now, but I wanted to show the video so we didn't interrupt it, and then we can get your opinions real quick, and then we could let Mr. Dixon go and be with his family tonight. So if you want to call back Courtney real quick. Listen, I'm not going to ask you guys what you think. That's stupid. I mean, we all know what we think of this. Do we think this is severe enough? I mean, if somebody is going into a, your place of business or going to your place of work and they're espousing these things, you would probably have them removed for that. We believe in free speech, but when you encroach upon people's individual rights, and I believe people have the right to mourn and people have a right to, require solace for their souls. And if you interrupt that, is that an invasion of your own rights? Or are we taking this too far by firing people like this who probably deserve to be fired? So I'll ask you that first. TS, you can give me your thoughts. And Leeroy, I'd like to get yours too.
So you got her fired personally?
No, I wanted to know. We were going to post it and we were going to go crazy and like make it go viral. And when I did it, she literally was fired. So I didn't get to do much. I mean, we wanted to kind of, expose her for what she was and have people make her go viral. But by the time I got to it, I got it. And then 20 minutes later, I started researching her and pulling stuff up and boom, she got fired. I mean, they nailed her to the wall quick.
Yeah, I think that was revolting and disgusting, and I'm not surprised. I think anybody that would put something like that on social media for their coworkers and everyone to see, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. Do I think we should promote cancel culture like the left has? I don't know. That's an interesting debate. I think that debate should be had. But I think it's interesting. We can learn from her, right? Because we watched her reaction. We watched how certain she was that she was right. And we watched how she was reveling and gleefully giggling and whatnot and saying, oh, finally someone, you have so many guns, use one. You know, because Darwin teaches them there's no God. And then Nietzsche said, if there's no God, then there's no morality. There's no right and wrong. There's no afterlife. There's no purpose. Everything's meaningless. And all there is will to power. And Marx said, if all there is will to power, here's 10 steps to achieve it. And by the way, there's class warfare. So somebody's oppressing you. The opposite group is oppressing you. They're the devil. They're the enemy in our political religion. And so this woman is so bought into this political religion, these 5 lies. And so to her, you know, Charlie Kirk represents the bourgeoisie. He's this white Christian nationalist, conservative, Republican. He's the devil. In their religion, he is one of the 12 acolytes of Satan. Okay? Satan would be reserved for Donald Trump in their religion, but Charlie would be one of his apostles.
Yeah.
So to kill somebody that's just a hunk of evolved cells, right? They're not a soul, they're not a spirit, they're not a person, they're not designed and created a child of God like we believe. Of course, it's no big deal. They're just standing in the way. They're the enemy, right? They're the bourgeoisie. They deserve it. Like the czar and his family, you know, they deserve it. Take them out. This is the mentality, you know, that woman, you know, a lot of people think this way. They feel this way on the inside. I'd say thank you to this woman for educating us and giving us an example how they feel externally, exposing how they really think and how they really feel. It's a sickness. It's a mind virus. And that woman is stage 4.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. And, you know, listen, I'm not a big fan of cancel culture. I think that if you say something, you have freedom of speech in this country. Here's the thing. I don't think you should be fired for something, but I think you should have to stand and defend and stand and deliver your thought process. And if you put something out there in writing, if you put something out there in a movie or a song, you have to be able to defend that. And if she did not want to defend that in the public eye, in the public space where she influences and impacts customers, then she shouldn't have said it. And see, this is the thing, free speech, shouting fire in the theater, it's not against the law to shout fire in the theater. Everyone thinks it is. It's not. It's actually, there's no law against shouting fire. There are consequences for creating the aftermath of shouting fire in a theater. That is the law. So you can say whatever the hell you want, but there are consequences to your words. That's why free speech is once you encroach upon somebody else's rights and a right to work.
To her, you know, Charlie Kirk is one of these bourgeoisie, these oppressors, this patriarchal, gender normative, heterosexual, Christian nationalist devil is not a human being, right? There's no humanity to him. You can see she's celebrating his death as if he's a character in a video game or in a movie somewhere.
Yeah,
like he's fictional. No, he's a real flesh and blood human. He's spirit and soul, and she's not considering the fact that he's real little children that might see that, and he has a real wife that's grieving that might see that. He's real parents and real. Probably siblings and cousins and family and friends that will see that. Not to the people infected with this mind virus, it's delusional. We're not human.
If Yankee fans can figure this out, the rest of America can, because those people are the worst. Sorry, just saying. I'm a Houston Astros fan. Let's see, Courtney.
You know,
oh wait, I got to get Courtney. She's on the phone. She was next, and then you go. Courtney, you dialed in. Go ahead. You wanted to talk about this person real quick. And remember, I didn't say this person shouldn't be fired. It's just not up to me. I don't believe we should go.
Right.
We shouldn't dox people. I don't agree with that. I don't think we should steal their banking. But I think she should have to stand in the public square and defend herself. And obviously, her employer said, "Yeah, well, we heard what you said, and now you're gone." Go ahead, Courtney, real quick, and then Leeroy wants to chime in.
Okay, so I brought my best friend and my husband, who's listening in Lethbridge at the moment, and my best friend's out in Richer, Manitoba. And I actually questioned myself once I wrote out that email to you. And I went to her and I said, maybe that's not the best thing to do. And then, like, the email to you.
Yeah.
But that's unfair. Like, he was a person. I actually lost my shit at 2 p.m. today.
Yeah.
It took that long to sink in.
Yeah, it hits people differently for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, doxed, no, maybe not, but she definitely has to defend herself now.
Yeah.
And she'll never work in the public sector ever again.
No, she won't. And she probably doesn't deserve to, honestly. So, I'm not, I'm kind of with TS. I think there's a space to have this conversation. I'm not a big fan of doxing. I don't think it's okay to swat people and stuff like that. But my show, I play clips, and I have people who've been directly impacted by saying things on my show. Love you, pal. And there's people who've paid the price in the public eye because of that. We've had things go viral. I don't apologize for that. That's my job. But going after her job, it doesn't matter. Like, literally, when I started looking into the video and I did a search, it was like, she's been fired. I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and claim this and say, hey, I'll donate $1,000. She's done. No, I'm kidding. I had nothing to do with it. Zero. So, Courtney, I gotta let you go, sweetie. We'll talk to you next time, and thank you for calling in. Okay.
You betcha. Take care.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Leeroy, sorry, buddy, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I had her on the phone. Go ahead.
This is just another excellent case of recognizing the internet for what it is. And we can either see what comes out of it as some sort of reward-based thing or the dangers of social media. And at the end of the day, it's a tool. And like with any other tool, people need to learn how to use it responsibly.
Right.
Something you had mentioned was about the potential for some people to get fired. It's funny you say that. I was watching a video not that long ago with Konstantin Kisin, where he had mentioned that something like 3,300 people in Great Britain had been arrested for their social media posts. Arrested. Now,
Yes.
this is a case where this poor woman lost her livelihood, lost her job. Good. But that's the responsibility piece, right? So, again, this is just another great example. And beyond that, I agree with everything that TS had just said.
It's Canada. Who cares? So anyway,
it's Canada.
Just kidding. I love our Canadian people. TS, as always, you get last word. Two things. Matt, I just heard they think the shooter used that rifle because it's a much older rifle and much harder to trace, which I know is a factual statement. Yeah, most rifles that are like that can be purchased in Walmart. They can be purchased mail order. There's a lot of ways to pick those up. Somebody used the hunting rifle because it's a practical and easy weapon to get to, and it's easily learned. It can be learned in an afternoon, and you don't need any massive instruction on how to iron sights or scope out a rifle. Once you zero that sucker in, it's pretty much like glass. It does its job at that range, and we don't know why. Let's catch the guy first, then we can speculate and pontificate about why he did what. This guy is a psychopath. He needs to get off the streets. We need to get a hold of him. We need to capture him alive. I don't want any bullshit suicide in a swamp so he gets eaten by gators. I don't want his body recovered in the Himalayas or something. I want him captured, and I want him
not
to
put
pay
him in the same cell as wherever Jeffrey Epstein was, right?
Right. Let's punish this son of a bitch, and let's find out his ties. Let's find out why he did it. Let's find out who else is involved, because people like this don't work alone. Last thing is, somebody said that the Annapolis, there was a shooting. That is correct. U.S. Naval Academy, there was a shooting, and guy went door to door. He was a former cadet who was, it's not cadet, it's it doesn't matter, I'm too tired. He went door to door and fired upon people. There was no confirmation of any casualties. Midshipman, thank you very much. So that is accurate, and he was expelled, and he came back, and his intent, what they're surmising, is that it was for retribution for being removed from the academy. Cheryl Royster donated $30. Keep telling the truth always, Cheryl. It's what we do. If you haven't had a chance to donate, you might want to do it now. I am going to go to the FBI. I'm going to get Leeroy out of here. He's had a long week, and he's got to go do some chief shit and get drunk. And then TS has a life.
You make it sound like work.
You're an alcoholic just because you're in the Navy. We're all alcoholics in the Navy. TS, you get the final couple minutes, man. Go for it. Tell everybody give them some words of wisdom.
Yeah, I'm reminded of the point you brought up earlier, Matt, about this being the Columbine, that it is an inflection point, and that if we don't have serious deterrence and serious law enforcement action against political violence, like rioting, like assassination attempts, like doxing, like these swattings, then these people are going to be emboldened. I mean, look at how they arrested and threw these abortion protesters in jail for praying outside of abortion clinics. We're trying to give women some other options before they went in there, and they were merciless. They were ruthless. I remember that one African American mother. She had, I think, 2 children, a husband, and they just threw her in jail for years. And Trump had to pardon her. I mean, there was no sympathy, there was no mercy. And then when people were firebombing pregnancy centers at night, Merrick Garland and the Democrat Department of Justice said, "Oh, we can't." I think when they testified before Congress, they said, "Oh, well, it was dark. It was pretty dark. We just couldn't find the people that did it. It was too dark."
It's like the pipe bomber.
Sorry,
the pipe.
some dogs
Well,
barking
don't.
here,
Hey, if the roof is too sloped, listen, we can't go up on that roof. Are you kidding me? It was too sloped. I mean, just the. Oh my God, you got to love the excuses.
we can't station someone. There's too slope. Sorry. So,
12
I mean,
degrees.
it goes to what you're saying is if we don't get some serious law enforcement reform, and I don't want to go on a long thing about it, but if we don't get some reform and some true law enforcement and true justice, where it is unacceptable to commit political violence in this country against either side, and we know which side is producing most of it, if not all of it, then you're right. This will be an inflection point. Unfortunately, this will be the beginning of a whole new level. They will have punctured a new membrane of violence against conservatives. And that can't be allowed, especially not under Trump.
Yeah. Get T.S. Dixon's book. If you like the way the guy talks, trust me, he's as they say in Blazing Saddles, you talk prettier than a $10 whore. The woke mind viruses.
God.
It's oh, you're offended by Mel Brooks all of a sudden. Give me a fucking break. Jeez.
I didn't know you thought so well of me, Matt. Thank you.
I do. That's a big compliment. That's probably one of the best compliments in the book. Versus this one. You see that hand? Yeah, steady as a rock, but I shoot with this hand. So I just love how Leeroy's offended. Oh, how dare you? Like
I never said that.
He's very proud of Leeroy. I heard that about him.
God. He loves Blazing Saddles. You can go and pick up the Woke Mind Viruses over on tsdixon.com. You go to Amazon. You can get the digital copy. You can get the audio book. You can get the physical copy, the hard copy, the soft cover, whatever it is, very reasonably priced. But the thing about this book is it's a pathway to understanding. And that's the best way I can describe it. It is a gradual process. You don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to comprehend what he's saying. But by the time you are done with it, you will literally get a millennia worth of knowledge in a very short period of time. And it's a reference point. This book is not designed to be a singular path through and then you just simply put it away. This is a reference guide. This is something that you should go into and pull from on multiple different facets of your understandings of multifaceted topics. It's not a singularity. What I love about it is it's not preachy. It just simply tells you the truth. And God forbid that authors actually do that and don't focus on personal opinion, but focus on personal truth. It's a great book. If you go get it, it's the best $20 you'll ever spend. And I really, truly mean that. And I've read it multiple times, and I will continue to endorse this good man who is definitely better than a $10 whore.
Thanks, Matt.
Dude, you don't get those on RSBN. I mean, you don't get intros like that.
No, I never get these kind of compliments there.
No,
what's up with that?
That's
it's because they're probably a little more highbrow than us, but we love those
They
guys.
need to up
over
their
there.
game.
Yeah, that's right. They do. TS, I love you, buddy. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being with us
Love you
tonight.
too, Matt.
Thanks for
Thanks.
sharing your story.
Yes, it was so good to talk to you.
Leeroy, great talking to you as always.
Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
Bubba. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, fellas.
All right, buddy. T.S. Dixon, everybody. Good friend of the show and someone who I just absolutely, I love the guy. He feels like a lifelong friend. He's been there. He's just so kind, you know. He's just kind. That's the best way I can describe it. He doesn't have a
What an
mean
amazing guy.
Oh yeah, and trust me, like TS can bring the pain. Like he's one of those guys that you don't want to piss off. You know, he's a quiet professional, and he's wicked smart. He understands things. He helps me, and you know, I kind of have to lower the brow a little bit when he's around because he just makes you want to just listen and try to comprehend. He's a very, very smart man. Love him to death. He's a good friend. and I love having him around. Another guy I love having around is Leeroy, and it's been a pleasure being with you tonight. I'm going to be covering some of the FBI stuff. It's 21:30, and I don't want to keep you any longer, so why don't you take your minute?
No, I do need to
get out of here. Take a quick minute.
Just such a great show. It's an absolute travesty. This is one of those bittersweet things, right? It's an absolute travesty to have to cover, speculate, deal with any of the media coverage or any of the news updates post what happened to Charlie Kirk. But at the same time, I get to talk to my friend Matt, and we were blessed with the presence of TS, and we were able to talk through quite a a pretty broad spectrum of philosophies and what it means to be left or right, or the ideas behind free speech versus violence. Just a great show. Beyond that, thank you to everyone who donated. And for the people that called in, thank you very much for calling in. Again, another warm shout out to T.S. Dixon. If you haven't read his book, please do so. It's an amazing read. And I will see you guys in about a week.
Appreciate it. Leeroy, love you, buddy. And by the way, we're going to go ahead and watch Fox right now. And if all the things that I told you an hour and a half ago are now going to be showing on Fox, they've got this guy. You're about to see all the things that I've been seeing since about 9 a.m., 10 this morning, that all the multiple camera angles. This is why it's good to have friends, and it's good to have people in the know, because you can't be wrong when you listen to good people. Leeroy, I love you, bud. Have a good week. I'll see you when you get home, okay?
Peace out, homies.
All right, buddy.
Be good.
Be safe.
Right.
Thanks, bud. I'm going to stay on for a little bit. Leeroy's going to jump, and we're going to cover this press conference. You're going to see all the different angles that I told you about, the multiple houses that have this guy on camera, him limping. Like I told you, we're going to be pretty honest with you about what's going on, just so you guys can stay in the know. FBI is going to be doing a briefing, and I'm going to stay on as long as I can. As far as getting the booking, one second, please. Olivia's saying I have to check something. Yeah, I know. Yep. Tell Amy I know that. Tell her tell her Matt knows that, and I'm going to air it right now. Can you tell her I already know this? I already have confirmation from 2 different sources that aren't in the fib. Just let her know I've got 2 confirmations, and I'm going to air it because I got it from 2 other people. So I'm going to go ahead. I haven't done any breaking news, so I'm going to just do it. Just tell her I'm good. I already know. So I want to confirm now, because if they're releasing the video, they know who this guy is. 100% confirmed. They know who he is, and they're not releasing it, and they're not releasing his name. And they're going to, obviously, this is why the marshals are in tow. This is why Cash and Dan are in state. They know who he is, and they're going to take him down. You can expect shortly that we should have some information on that. I'm just going to let you know this. This is now the 7th source that has confirmed this for me. So, and I won't tell you the other source, but that's basically it. So let's go ahead and watch this. And folks, we love to overdrive donations. The show gets more and more expensive every time we do it, because it gets longer, it gets more involved. There's more work. If you appreciate what we do, we're not begging you. We're just asking you. If you have the ability, help us out a little bit. People watch this show, 30, 40 hours a week, and they appreciate it. Ask yourself the question, how much do you pay for Netflix? You give $20 to Netflix. Do you watch 30, 40 hours? A month? Most people don't. Most people watch a movie or 2 if at all. So if you appreciate it, help us out. Go to thedumbshow.com/donate. Doesn't matter if it's $1, $2, $10, $100. It's up to you. Real simple. It's all credit cards are 100% secure. You can do it through PayPal, debit card, Apple Pay, whatever you want. We always talk about it at the end of the show. Once again, I'm not promising that this person will be in custody. What I'm saying is that they have identified who the person is, and they are now in the process of dragnetting and squeezing in a statewide manhunt for him. My understanding is they know who he is. That's all I can tell you. And if that changes, I'll let you know. Let's go ahead and see if the fib is here, and if they're going to give us some more information. Oh yeah, you're about to see everything I told you. See, this is where my credibility, this is where we build it. This is what we do. We build credibility by sharing information that's honest and true. And everything that I told you, you're about to see. And that makes me feel good, is that I could give you guys something that's accurate before you heard it anywhere else. So here it is. Let's go ahead and turn this up. And we're just going to play it. And
this guy,
we'll go from here.
He cannot run and hide forever. He is eventually going to get caught. We've seen it happen with all of the cases that have recently come out. These manhunts.
The other shows some.
A lot of those railings, especially when, I'm guessing, especially when he's accessing the roof, because he's got that gun on his leg and he's limping. He will have touched that railing many, many times, and that's going to be fingerprints and DNA.
I'm glad I'm not being investigated by you. You are very smart, and those are really keen observations on every level. Nicole, Maureen, John, please stay with us. We bring in Matt Finn. He is live on the ground. He's at the University of Utah at the campus where we
I already got
expecting
Nilsson
any
says
moment
they're going to be
now
banned.
a press conference. We expect the FBI director and perhaps the deputy FBI director to be speaking to the nation and giving us the latest. Matt, what are you hearing on the ground there?
Once again, where did I tell you they were? And there they are. You heard this 2.5 hours ago, folks. We told you long before this was common knowledge that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were in Utah. We give you real information. We have real sources here in Washington, D.C. in the Delmarva area. These are lifelong relationships and friends that we've built relationships with who call us and tell us because they trust us. They know we're not going to divulge their information. We're not going to go ahead and violate anything. They use us as a mouthpiece. And yes, our podcast is small, but our relationships aren't. Leeroy and I have spent many, many years cultivating relationships with CEOs, admirals, generals, rank and file FBI, CIA, National Security Agency, the ONI, and pretty much Border Patrol. We sit across from State Department people every single breakfast that we go on Saturdays and Sundays. I sit apart for director trainer of the Border Patrol. I know people in the Department of Homeland Security. This isn't a humble brag. This is that we get good information because we surround ourselves with good intel.
Conference just in about 10 minutes that is supposed to start.
Put it all together. What do you put? Right.
And that's why they were canvassing. Where I'm speaking, I think, who probably has a very important lead for the FBI.
We bring back for reaction.
Is alive at this point, and if they are safely taken into custody when they are located, again, we don't know when that will be, but it's a very different incident than, you know, a lot of these school shootings where they shoot themselves, they've committed suicide in the act. That is why it is
Folks,
so important.
I'm hearing that we're having some connection issues. That's from Facebook. Facebook's having it. There's a lot of people on, right? Our page alone, I don't know whether you've noticed, but the post that I did last night, I think it's at 5-6 million views. We've had 74 million people interact in the last 36 hours. Our Facebook page is going nuts. Our YouTube page is going up nuts. Our Instagram. We're finally reaching a level of acknowledgement for the work that we do, and we're going to continue to do it. So bear with us. It's not my fault. Facebook's having problems. We're actually streaming at a very rapid clip in 4K. With great audio right now. Our show always looks good and sounds good. It's not us. If you're having problems with Facebook, leave and come back or find a secondary channel. And you can go to Rumble. You can go to Wimkin. You can go to Twitter. You can go to YouTube. You can go to Twitch. That's where we are. And of course, Facebook, if it's working. This guy's toast. I told you, they got him. And it's going to be in the timeline that I said too. It's great. Well, it's okay. Mine's acting weird too. I think a lot of people are on the internet, folks. My connection's stellar too. All right, I got to step out of this.
Thought and detail and planning went into this for him to make that fundamental. You know, put his fingerprints all over the rails as he's climbing up to that roof.
Yeah.
See, they got everything on this guy. They got They got everything. Fresh haircut. So he's had a haircut. His neckline has no hair on it. So he's got a fresh haircut. They can look at his clothes. They can look at his backpack, the way the backpack is hanging, what's in there, what's not in there. This is the guy. He's done. They'll find him. This is not a pro. I told you it's not a pro. Seems to be a young kid, college kid, local kid. Probably has some hunting experience. That's why he went familiar with a hunting rifle. This is it. Just what we told you. Folks, we're at 354.73. We overdrove our goal, which I love to see, but we're in overtime now, and we always like to see if we can continue to keep donating and keep helping the show. If you have not had a chance, it's your first time watching, listen, we'd love to have you do that if you can help us out. If not, don't sweat it. We will survive, but we appreciate your help.
The colloquial first 48 that I don't think really even
Carla
applies anymore.
Is it Sanshi? This is the first donation for Carla Sanshi. Donated $50. Carla, thank you. God bless you. We really appreciate you. We love our first-time donors. Your name is going to be put at the scroll at the end of the show. We usually do that once a month. We have hundreds and hundreds, almost 1,000 people in the name of the scroll, and your name will forever be emblazoned on the Don't Unfriend Me show as long as I don't piss you off. And I piss people off sometimes. I get grumpy and I get frustrated and I bark and snap. But I've gotten better, I think, and hopefully I don't piss anyone off. If I do, give me another chance. It's never personal. Sometimes I take offense to things and I get hot under the collar and get triggered myself. But we certainly appreciate you, and thank you so much, Carla, for donating. It means a great deal. But I don't think I've seen your name before, so welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Oi, come on. You got to stop doing this to me. There's really no reason for it.
Not brought up here is whether or not we're looking at a lone wolf or whether there are potentially others involved. I saw one interview, a local interview in Salt Lake, where an individual was more than convinced that there were people on the ground that they believe are accessories to this crime. Obviously, the FBI has to pay attention to that possibility. Any thoughts?
That's right. They can rule nothing out. Until this case is solved, they can absolutely rule nothing out. And I've heard the same, assumptions and thoughts and feelings. I think a lot of people are interested in the person that asked the question just seconds before he was shot and killed. Was there any link to that? Because it was about transgenderism, and apparently, there might be some link to writings or inscriptions on possible magazines or weapon.
I know when he came off the roof, he hurt himself because he jumped and tried to get off so quick that he probably hurt his leg. It's my understanding that before he went into, I don't think he has a rifle down. It's like, you can't just fit a rifle down your pants like that. That's not the way it works. The scope isn't going to work. You're not gonna be able to secure the pants right. You would walk much funnier than that. I believe he hurt his
casings,
leg.
They have been.
And he left the rifle in the woods, which was the closest thing to his exfil point. Went into the woods, ditched the rifle, had it wrapped in blankets, and then went into the neighborhood. I don't believe he had his rifle down his pants. It doesn't look like it. That's a long rifle. I mean, a 30-06 hunting rifle is ridiculous. I mean, just to give you some comparison contrast here, this is an AR-15. And she's not, and she's full extended. You can look at that. And if you look at that M1, which is all the way in the top corner up there, that longer M1, that's going to be roughly the size of that hunting rifle, probably a little smaller than that M1. This is a Winchester. So this is probably more comparable to it, and look at the length. And there's no scope and sight on that. We don't know what he had on the stock. But no, you're not fitting that down your pants comfortably. It's just not going to happen. I'm 6'4" and I couldn't fit it down my pants comfortably. There's no reason for that. He had blankets. He obviously wrapped them. The box looks like it was laid down there for protection for prints and integrity, so it doesn't get wet. That's why they put it in the box, because of the weather. It looks like he had it in blankets. They unwrapped it, put it in the box for safekeeping, so they could print it and send it back to the FBI and track it properly. I don't believe it was in his pants. It just doesn't make much sense to me. And I haven't heard that either. But maybe he did. Maybe we'll find out. Haha, Lisa. I love how much of a coward you are. Just as much of a coward as the shooter. Lisa, you have an anon profile. You're so much of a coward you can't even put a picture up. And that's how we've won, is because you have resigned yourself to being an ineffectual loser without a voice. You're probably extremely poor looking, I would assume. You probably don't take a lot of pride in yourself. You have insecurities, and you decided to create a burner account so you could talk shit about Charlie Kirk because you don't have the courage to do it. Look how much braver Republicans are than you. Remember, you guys used to be the party that stood up to the government. You hated long-term wars. You wanted civil liberties. You wanted freedom of speech. You cared about the working class. Now what are you? You're degraded to an Anon account and a digital atrocity. That's what you are. You're nothing. You're a loser. So it's like you're not even a challenge. You're nothing. You have no voice. You have no courage. You have no honor. You have no integrity. And you have to live with yourself, you know? So I'm good. I can come online and I can say the things I want. And I have no fear. None. Charlie Kirk had no fear. He had no fear of people like you. You guys are you're just lonely and you're empty shells of what human beings are supposed to be. So Lisa, you flipped me off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So fuck you right back. I laugh at people like you. You just got no life. You have nothing. Yeah, that's right. I'm a cracker. Yeah, that's me. Go suck your daddy. What is this, Ebonics? Why don't you call in? There's a phone number. Do you want to call in? Do you have a phone? Can your EBT card pay for your phone? Do you think you can do that? Do you think maybe you can go panhandle some change at the local 7-Eleven? Maybe borrow it from your pimp and see if you can call in and we can have a conversation, Lisa? Do you have enough courage to do that? Do you? Do you? No, I don't think you do. Oh, you stopped talking? Did you get upset? Did you run out of minutes on your phone card? Come on, Lisa, you're an Anon account. You probably got suspended by Facebook. They did my light work. I don't even need to face you. Yeah, come on. What are you going to do? You're just going to call and you're going to cuss at me and yell at me? You got nothing on me. I understand. You probably find me semi-attractive for a white guy. I've got money. I've got a house. I've got a beautiful wife and kids. You hate me. Oh, yeah. Short dick. Oh, no, Lisa. I've never been asked for a refund. Just ask your mom. She loved it. Ugly. Oh, I'm not ugly. See, that's how I know you're attacking my looks. You can attack my penis. God, take my penis, but don't take my looks. Oh, come on. You know I'm not ugly. Come on, Lisa. Lisa, you and I both know that. You've never had better. You wouldn't ask for a refund. Come on. Come on. Oh, he says, better hope words you don't find yourself ever looking. I've already done that, sweetie. I did that to protect your fucking nonsensical ebonics shit that you're spitting out right now. I've already done that job. I did that job when you were still a gleam in your daddy's eye, if you know who he is. So, you know, certainly you don't even know who your father is, but long time ago I did that. Yeah, so I've already done that. So no, I'm good. I've already done that. Nope. I've let that to the younger generation. So appreciate it. I'm a pretty good person though. Ernest, don't say those. You're going to get banned. Don't let me handle her. She's lightweight. Well, her opinions are lightweight. I'm sure she's shy of 320 with a box of Twinkies and masturbates with a vibrator the size of a Ford pickup truck. But Ernest, don't get involved. You don't need to do this. I love how you call me a cracker. Calls me a racist and calls me a cracker. Wow. I can't be racist. Why can't you be racist? You're saying some pretty racist shit right now. Do you have a nose ring? I was just wondering. All right, Lisa, is that all you got? Because I'm just waiting for the FBI interview. I'm not even going to ban you. If that's all you got, sister, you suck. You suck. You're bad at this.
Independently corroborated that.
The worst troll ever.
I think we're really close to either catching him.
Somebody has a agenda, whatever the agenda happens to be. The inscriptions give us an indication. You always got to imagine that there are probably, they.
Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. It's always great when we have trolls because our numbers go up through the roof. So I always love the trolls. Nothing more impressive than keyboard warriors. Listen, they've got to get their frustrations out. They're so pissed off because Trump won. They don't know what to do. They probably kick their cat, kick their kid. They're just upset. I'm here for it. I'm here for them. I want to be here for them. I want to help them enrich their lives. I want them to realize that we're not their enemy, that they're their enemy. The government is their enemy. The media is their enemy. We're not us. We have neighbors who are black, brown, green, yellow, whatever. We don't care what the hell your hair color is. We don't care what you do. We love you. We love everybody. We just can't stand how freaking ignorant you are, you know? And that you sit here and go, don't project your values on me, but we all of a sudden have to call you by Gégère, cupcake, alligator, unicorn fucking stuff. I mean, it's amazing that you guys say that we're brainwashed and we're a cult, but we're not the ones that literally dress the same, look the same, stick nose rings in our ears and other places in our private parts and want to sexually mutilate children and consider that healthcare is murdering babies. Come on, you guys are just lost the fucking plot. Matt, I've only been watching Matt for a few months, and he talks about his past on how his temper has never seen it and just well, nobody's ever seen my temper on this show. You've never seen me lose it. Nobody has. Frank Riley, donate 2110. Thanks for the honest and informative show. Still upset about Charlie, and so am I. It's helping for me to go ahead and trash on trolls, though. I like doing it. Watch how you talk to my friends, buddy, Rhiannon says. I don't think Rhiannon's going to... You don't want Rhiannon. She's got teeth. Joe Bond says, what's the latest on Gunman? We're looking at it. We've got a news conference coming up. The entire show, I've already covered most of it, and everything they're going to tell you, I already told you. Julian says, how's it going? Going good. Love you all in the dumb show. Rhiannon, we love you too. No, leave the Gators out of it. Kimberly. Ernest says, I've been banned before. Don't get banned, though, because we like you watching the show, and if you get banned, you can't contribute. That's not good. All right, here we go. Let's see if they've said anything yet. Thanks for the donation, whoever it is. It is Mikey, $12.34 via snail mail. Thank you, Mike.
We dehumanize people. You know, when you start...
You guys, if Sean Hannity can't get this going, come on, let's get this thing going. Let's get this news conference going. I'm ready. I want to go.
The new video that has been released, limping in one direction, the pictures that show, you know, bulging.
I told you guys, I had this guy's shirt. And I had it on Amazon. I knew just what he was wearing. Oh, Lisa's back. Your daughter gonna be a future whore like her daddy and mama. Oh, I was a whore. Oh, Lisa, I probably slept with your mom. I'm pretty sure. I enjoyed the mocha persuasion during my youth. I might be your father. You might want to be careful about that daddy shit because it just might come true. I mean, I'm sure you're still looking for him. But my daughter, you're not gonna. Lisa, you don't know my soft spots. You know what? You can have my kid for the right price. I'm sure you've got some money left on your EBT. Do you have any food stamps? I'll trade you. I am a sucker for those apple pies, little small ones that you can get by Sara Lee. Can you buy those on EBT and food stamps? I don't know if you can. Are those legal? I know you probably can buy liquor and weed, but can you buy those little apple pies? I would take like 2 of those apple pies. I'll give you my kid. Listen, I know the 14th and the 13th and 15th Amendment kind of say no to that type of stuff, but I'm willing to look the other way for you, Lisa. She cleans really well. Let me know if you're interested. Sweetie, you don't know my soft spots. You are low rent. Like in the first 6 months when I started doing this 5 years ago, you probably could have got to me, but you my liberal kung fu, ching, 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 ching. You can't even get in on me, sweetie. You don't even know where my soft spots are. You don't have the intellect. You can't even spell properly. So, yeah. Good try, though. It's funny. My wife is a whore, though. Totally. Yeah. Sorry, Liv. I outed you. She is. Totally. Like, she slept with 3 guys before she met me. Can you believe that? 3. Oh! I had to lower my standards. She probably 400 pounds with green hair and no one wants her. No, I have a sinking suspicion that her hair is black. I just have something tells me that she has. Lisa, that's going to help. 14 middle fingers. That makes sense. Can you count that high, sweetie? Try to do it. Use your toes if you can find and see them and see if you can count that high. We'll do it together. You ready? I'm just going to ask you a question. Ready? How many middle fingers do we see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What? What, honey? I was the third guy? Oh, okay. So not a full-fledged whore. Okay. So 14 middle fingers. That's good. Can we get 15 or 16? I don't know, Wesley. I don't know. I'm watching. We're on overtime, buddy. But I'm going to play it. But right now I'm having fun with the troll. And I've got to do it, man. It's fun. I don't get this type of entertainment anymore, especially with these people with this type of intellect. I mean, This woman's really sharp. Let's see.
Out there to keep us safe. It is generally deployed for countermeasures with respect to.
Nope. All I know is that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are in Utah. We released that a couple hours ago. I explained that they had a ton of footage on the shooter, that it's a matter of time before they get him. And they know who he is. Now it's a matter of fighting him. Is that all that Lisa had? Is that all she's got? Did you have any luck finding those little apple pies by Sara Lee? They're really good. I mean, seriously, you put those in the microwave for like, I don't know, 15 seconds. You don't want to go too far because they caramelize and it gets way too hot. And I don't do ice cream, but I do frozen yogurt, vanilla, just a little scoop of that on the side. It's really good. I don't know, Wesley. I'm not Fox News, buddy. Hopefully soon. I'm waiting, and I keep fast forwarding it, but they're not there. I mean, this is the Trump administration. Punctuality isn't their thing. Oh, wait, maybe we got it. Hold on.
And Commissioner Anderson, as well as, I'm so sorry.
Okay, Lisa, you're done now,
Long
sweetie.
time, a lot of breaking.
Oh, look, Matt said it. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were in Utah, and look where they're at. Oh, it's almost like I knew. That's what happens when you have friends in the Secret Service and the security force for Air Force One. I just want to let you guys know I'm here for you. Can I get an amen from that? Can I get a, hey, Matt, good job. Nobody said that but you. I haven't heard that from anyone. How did you know, Matt? Oh, my God. Can I get a little amen? Just, can I get a witness? A hallelujah? All right. Here you go. Merry Christmas.
Weapon.
Lisa, you suck. You're horrible. You're horrible.
TMZ video.
You're not even
that
smart.
We've been airing for you. We know that they have palm prints. We know that they have fingerprints. We know that they have footprints. Let's listen in.
This evening, we have FBI Director Patel, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino.
Oh, who said that?
Special Agent.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. I got to brag a little bit. It's important when I beat the news media. It makes me feel good. It does. It's good. Makes me like when I trounce on Lisa.
Robert Bowles, Governor Spencer Cox, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, and Commissioner Anderson, as well as, I'm so sorry, Commissioner Bo Mason, as well as some local partners here present with us today. Governor, we'll kick it off. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here tonight. We appreciate the media and the partnership we have with you in helping us to get information out to the public so that we can catch this assassin and hold him accountable. We are going to share a portion of a video and that we have of the suspect, as well as some new stills. Those have already been released, but we want to make sure that they get as much attention as possible so that we can get help from the public in tracking down this evil human being. So we're going to cue up the video right now. Show that. I've asked Commissioner Bo Mason if he would narrate to you what is happening in this video.
Thank you, Governor. Bo Mason, Commissioner for the Utah Department of Public Safety. If you look up to the top left, you'll see the building where the shooter
what do you mean watch CBS? No, Eileen, don't tell them to watch CBS. I had this before CBS. Watch it here. Don't tell people to leave. Watch us.
Left corner.
Screw CBS.
We'll go ahead and play that video, and I'll narrate it as we walk through that.
Oh, look, it's the video I told
So
you
here you see
existed with the exact space that I told you it was going to happen in. Wow.
The suspect ran behind that upper building. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA.
And that's where he hurt
There's a
himself.
shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black T-shirt, his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes. Those are all identifiable items that we're looking for. In the stills that are going to follow this, you're going to see a very distinctive T-shirt with an American flag and appears to have an eagle on it. There's also a baseball cap with a triangle on it and a pair of sunglasses. All distinctive, all things that we would ask the public to look for and try to identify if they know someone who has those items, who has been seen wearing those items.
You can tell he's a soy boy just by the way he's running.
Here you see the suspect after dropping off the building. He moved around across this grassy area, around the parking lot. We're going to pan to the right. After he crosses the street, this is where he moves over into the wooded area.
Oh, wow. Who told you that?
This is the video evidence.
Remember, people told you he went into the apartment complexes, or excuse me, the suburbs first. No, he went into the wooded area first. Remember, I told you that. I'm going to keep saying it because, damn it, it's important. If it keeps freezing, go to YouTube, go to Rumble. It's Facebook. It's not me.
Firearm in that wooded area following the discovery of this evidence. Good. You want to go to the stills? So here's the still photographs I mentioned. These have been enhanced. So these are slightly different than what we introduced earlier. Please pay close attention to the T-shirt. Like I said, very distinctive with that American flag and that eagle. The hat with the triangle and the sunglasses. You'll go to the next picture, please. The backpack as well. All identifying features that we're hoping the public can help us identify and lead us to this suspect. Next picture. And again, there's a better picture of the hat with that triangle logo, and again, the T-shirt. Blue jeans, and you get a good look at those Converse tennis shoes as well. We have pushed these out. We'll continue to push these out, and we just ask for the public's cooperation through the public. The tips that have been coming in are what are giving us our next leads and enabling us to continue to further this investigation. We've had great cooperation from the public, and we're continuing to ask for that as we move forward. Thank you, and I'll turn the time back over to Governor Cox.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mason. I want to thank Director Patel and his team. It's great to have them on the ground with us tonight. We've had several briefings, and he's had an opportunity
Thank you, Kristen
to walk the crime
Barrios,
scene.
for following.
We appreciate our local law enforcement here. Again, we have Mike
Folks,
Smith.
if you appreciate the show, we're in overtime. We have overdriven our goal by 138, but that doesn't mean that we want to stop. We always ask for the things that kind of help us pay for the lights and the content and having great guests on, and also paying for the internet, which is incredibly expensive to stream in 4K to 8 different sites. We're having some problems on Facebook tonight, but that's not us. Our Facebook page is actually doing really well. It's just the feed is bad tonight. It happens on Facebook, so you can go to YouTube, you can go to Rumble. We will continue to play this for you. If you have the ability, you got $5 to help us out. You got $1, help us out. You don't have to. It's not required. We'll always be free, but it does help keep the show. Everything you see here is paid for by you. It's paid for by our viewers, and you fund this. It's a PBS, if you will, that isn't funded by the government, but funded by you because you want to. You don't have to, but if you can, we would appreciate it. He does look like a college student.
Again, we have
He's
Mike
not a
Smith,
pro. I tried to explain
who
that
is
to people.
The,
He's not
the
a pro.
county sheriff here. We have all of our local chiefs of police that are here as well, all working hand in hand with the state and with the FBI as we move forward with this investigation.
I'm sorry I keep interrupting it, but don't worry. There's nothing here that you haven't learned from us already. They know who he is. Please understand what they are doing right now is that this is a little bit of a head fake. They're loosening in order to get this guy to be comfortable. They have a dragnet. They have Utah surrounded. U.S. Marshals are in there. FBI is in there. They are doing a man-wide search, statewide search, probably tri-state search, Colorado, Utah, probably New Mexico as well, Arizona possibly. They are literally scrubbing that area. But they're going to loosen the bands a little bit and try to let this guy slip. And the reason why is because they want him comfortable. They want him to go to McDonald's, whatever. They're putting this information out saying, we don't know who he is, so he can feel comfortable to kind of get out there, change his disguise, whatever, and then nab him and pick him up. I told you this was going to happen. First 24 hours would be they're going to try to hit him, and they're going to tighten the noose, and they're going to be very, very tight-lipped. After that 24 hours, they are going to be they're going to expose, they're going to put pressure on him. They want him to move. They want him to get out where he is from. That is what they're doing right now. So this is exactly what we've told you over the last 2 nights. Stay here and you'll learn more.
The public to support this investigation and come forward with any information. We are truly hopeful that this video and new photos will lead to even more tips. We are processing. We have an incredible team, a state and federal team working together to process those tips. We are going out in tandem to interview any potential person of interest or suspects. But we need, again, we need as much help as we can possibly get. Any videos or photos that you might have, the public, should be submitted to our digital media tip line, which is www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. Again, that is fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase.
Let me explain this. When people always want to know about the cameras, somebody asked about that. Folks, these cameras are wide angle cameras. My cameras on my house, they film almost 220 degrees. I have 360 degree coverage from 2 cameras. So these cameras can be adjusted and you can zoom in on the picture and track. So they also have motion tracking. So they recognize these cameras are high tech. They're out there. They have thermal imaging at night. They have motion tracking. They have enhanced digital application and recording capabilities. Folks, this is not new. Everyone goes, well, how come that camera's always following them? Because it's a 220 degree wide camera, and they're simply adjusting the camera angle. And somebody's using a yoke stick to do that, or they're using an application to track the person. Y'all need to relax. Nobody's filming. It's security cameras, and they're everywhere nowadays, and they are very, very spread out. Hi.
Do you have like 20 seconds to
Yeah, go. Hold on, everybody. Let me play this for you so you can hear it. My daughter is
Our team, the state team, and I'm sure the federal team as well, what we're seeing is our adversaries want violence. China, we have bots from Russia, China, all over the world that are trying to instill disinformation and encourage violence. I would encourage you to ignore those, to turn off those streams, and to spend a little more time with our families. We desperately need some healing. We'll have more to say about that in the days and weeks to come. More than anything, we are going to catch this person. Last thing I will just say is we've been working with our attorneys, getting everything that we need, affidavits ready, so that we can pursue the death penalty in this case, and that will happen.
Listen, we're done.
In the
I'm going to take his advice.
Again, to the
I feel
public,
comfortable that
to
the
those
dumb
who are
show.
grieving.
I feel like the dumb show did what the dumb show always does: provide you the most accurate and detailed information, and we're right, and we're always right, because we don't lie to you, we don't manipulate you, we don't force you to click on something and pay for something because we want your clickbait bullshit. We always tell you the truth. We've done it for 5 years. We are dependable. We may not always be the first, but we always get it right. And that's something that I can pride myself on. Everything you just heard, you heard from me over the last 2.5 hours before this press conference. And the reason why is because we have very, very good contacts who work in law enforcement, who work in the intel and the IC. And these are friends of ours, and they're people who we've worked with in the government. They take care of us. We take care of them. So that's how you got that information. Remember, I told you Dan Bongino was going to be there. I told you Kash Patel was going to be there. I told you how he exfilled from the roof. I told you about the limp. I told you where he put the firearm. I told you what type of firearm it was, that it was manual bolt action, that it was a 3-06, or it was a 308, or it was a 270. We all talked about it last night. We talked about the entry wound. We talked about how he died. I explained to you what the condition of Charlie was before anyone said anything, and what they would go through and how long it would take to pronounce his death. Unfortunately, all those things, even though tragic and horrible, we give you the best information. This is what we do. We've always done it, and we're never going to stop. We should have won an Emmy, if there was one, for many things. The Baltimore bombing, or the Baltimore Bridge collapse, Ukraine, Israel, the elections, 2020, COVID. It doesn't matter. This is what we do. We're good at it. We understand how to look at things and disseminate to people so they can understand it. We explain things to the best of our ability. We're not 100% on everything, but damn it, I'll put us against any news agency. Come on back and see us tomorrow. We'll be back at 7 o'clock. Laura Logan, I'm not going to ask her to be here tomorrow. I want her to have the weekend just to relax. That woman is amazing, but Laura Logan is going to be here. She is an amazing survivor. One of the most intelligent women. I am absolutely enamored with her. I think she is just an incredible soul. We're going to have her on the show. She talked to me today. I sent her a text and I said, I watched your video today and I was so moved by it. I got to have you on my show. Would you come on? And she's like, yep, I can do that for you. So she's going to come on and we're going to have a great talk. I cannot wait to have a longer conversation with her, and we're going to bring that to you. That's probably going to be next week, and we'll get the amazing and intelligent and powerful Laura Logan on the show. We are sitting at 296,555. We should hit 297. We have a very good chance of hitting 300,000 sometime tomorrow. We've worked hard for this. You've worked hard for this. We appreciate you. I don't think Cash and Dan are going to speak. They're not those type of guys. They're going to let the rank and file take the credit. They're there for emotional support. They're there to send a very clear message to the rank and file that they are there working with them, and they are there as a flex of power. It's amazing. Soldiers work when the general's in town. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Stay tuned. Keep being with your family. We'll talk to you then. Love you guys. Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.